podcast. Yo, yo. Your boy Renee in the house. Let's go. Let's hear it. What is up, everybody? Hello there. Happy Monday to y'all. Good to be back here on the YouTubes on this fine Monday. I hope all of you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you had a wonderful week last week. I haven't been live since last Tuesday, so I hope everything is going well for everybody. It'll be a good time for us to catch up on a few things as I'm getting myself all settled and situated. I see Arnold is in the vertical stream. What's up, Arnold? Always a pleasure seeing you here. It's funny when you don't stream for a while, you kind of forget where everything is, but bear with me as I'm trying to figure things out. But Arnold, I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a great weekend. I know you're probably, I don't know, are you playing Outlaws yet? Are you playing the new Star Wars game? If you are, I would love to know your initial thoughts right now, but let me know what's going on. Yeah, so I haven't been here since last Tuesday. Just a lot of personal stuff going on right now, and this week is looking like it's going to be the same thing. So just getting things right off the chest here. I may be able to stream on Wednesday, but probably not. But I will do my best to try to stream on Friday. I should be free on Friday for an end of the week stream. But the one thing I want to announce, and again, I'll make sure to post this update on the channel so that everyone can see it. But this Sunday, because it is a holiday weekend here in the United States. It's Labor Day weekend, so everybody's off the following Monday. So this Sunday, starting at 3 p.m., we're finally going to have our 10,000 subscriber celebration stream. What the schedule is going to be like for that stream, I don't know yet. But there's going to be games. There's going to be fun stuff. There's going to be chats. There's going to be all that stuff. So if you are around this Sunday, be sure to tune in and hang out with us as I'll be live for 12 hours celebrating the channel's accomplishment and achievement. I think this happened earlier in the month or the end of last month, I think. I'm not really sure if I remember. But we will make sure to celebrate. Basically, it's a celebration for you guys. You know, me and you all celebrating as one community. And maybe we can get some new people on board as well, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And like I said, I will post all of this information and schedule update on the community tab in YouTube. So there you go. Arnold saying, week is a disaster. Why is it a disaster week for you there, Arnold? You also got to play 2 hours, so how was it? I'm telling you, that Star Wars clip you sent me, that is definitely from the vault, the George Lucas vault. That is his special edition that was meant for definitely a different audience. So I thought that was pretty funny. It's kind of creepy too when you just see the guy dressed up in Chewbacca with human-like eyes and the little smile, like real teeth. And basically it's like, hey. I was just like, whoa, that's creepy. So. Oh, I see it. It releases in 2 hours for you. Got it. Okay. So you haven't had a chance yet to play Star Wars Outlaws. Look, the more and more I see people talking about it, the more and more positive stuff I'm hearing about that game, which is promising because, again, it's, how can I say it? Ubisoft has been very disappointing in recent years. And when I heard that they were, attempting to do a Star Wars game, I was very hesitant. Then I saw the initial footage and trailer and all that, and I was like, wait a minute, this looks like they have something here. But I was just afraid it was going to be very generic Ubisoft type of gaming, right? And thanks to Gamescom, I guess they had it playable there at the event. So it was really nice to hear people saying that they were enjoying themselves. It's not a perfect game. There are still issues with it. And I heard there are a lot of bugs currently right now. So hopefully they can kind of clear that up in the next week or two, because it's coming out on Friday officially here, but people who've pre-ordered it can play it, I guess, like Arnold says, for his time in the next couple of hours. But I'm hearing not everyone saying good stuff, but majority saying good stuff. So I find that to be very promising, because it does look like the kind of Star Wars game I would love to play. That doesn't necessarily deal with Jedis. I've always been fascinated with the whole underground bounty hunter smuggler kind of architect, or archetype, I should say. And I think it would be a lot of fun if you had a chance to play that in that way. So, Star-Lord's also in the house. What's going on, Star-Lord? Hope you had a great weekend. I hope you're doing well. Arnold saying, stressed with the boss because I don't get a proper plan. I've been working lately just peeping shift. Oh, I see. You don't have like a schedule. Yeah, that's kind of tough when your schedule is just very dependent week to week. So that sucks. Best friend said to you that you will play the game 24/7. You're gonna start living the whole Star Wars life there. Star-Lord, that was your Chewbacca. Okay, now I can. That's what's missing from the soundboard. I need a Chewbacca sound clip. If you want to record yourself doing your Chewbacca sound, then maybe I could add that to the sound clip. Ficon, what's going on, Ficon? Always a pleasure seeing you. I Marie, much love to you. Oh, that's really nice of you, showing some smaller creators love and kindness. I definitely appreciate it. That's very, very kind of you, and I'm glad you subbed. Very, very happy to see that. It's nice. It's nice to do that, because I'm definitely a very small YouTuber, despite what my numbers may say sometimes. So I appreciate it. I'm curious how you came across the stream too. Let me know. Also, while you're here watching the live stream, don't forget, hit that like button. Would greatly appreciate it to hear everyone else here in the chat, whether they're in the horizontal stream or vertical stream, would love it as well. So definitely do that for us. Topics for today, just want to get this out of the way now. A couple of trailers have dropped that I definitely want to check out that I haven't had a chance to react to. I'm counting like around 7, so it's going to be like a lot of trailers this morning. So good stuff all around, I think, in my opinion. Check out the weekend box office. The Crow, what a disappointment that was. I did get a chance to see it. I normally watch my movies on Thursday. Couldn't do it last week. But I did get myself to the theater yesterday. It was like me and I think 4 other people at night watching this movie. But I'm going to give my thoughts on The Crow there while we talk a lot about the box office. And we'll go over some new stuff. Guess what? As I thought, the Acolyte stuff isn't done yet. I'm talking about as far as discussion and news-wise. I mean, it's done as a show for sure, but there's a lot of insider stuff that will be interesting to kind of unravel with that hot mess. So we'll talk about all that stuff this morning. This afternoon. Well, this morning, this afternoon, or this evening, depending on where you are hailing from. So Arnold saying, I talked to my boss, but he doesn't change anything. I'm guessing your boss, how many employees do you have at that job? I'm guessing your boss is probably having a hard time trying to figure out scheduling himself. So I was saying, you need a Chewbacca. I do need a Chewbacca. I definitely need to add that to the soundboard. I'll do that. Ficon saying, I'm going to start the most enjoying project. Ficon, what project is that? Star-Lord, that's my Palpatine. Not anything is small, according to Arnold. There's no such thing as small? They're Smalls from The Sandlot. But yeah. Starla, you want to hear my crow? Bang, fuck, I'm dead. Well, that's a nice quote from the original movie there. Oh, that's actually, now that you did that. Yeah, there aren't okay. Well, I'll talk about as far as like um memorable quotes from this movie. I don't think there are any. Vicon said, I got a oh my gosh. Vicon has gotten himself a Lego Millennium Falcon, but it's completely broken down into pieces everywhere in random, very old boxes. So this is going to take a while. Oh, you got, wow, the 2015 version. I remember that version when that came out. I think they've done 2 other releases since then. So that's awesome. I don't know what his boss's problem is, but we'll see. Maybe you could just have another conversation, Arnold, with him, just like how you had a conversation about your pay last time, and just said it'll be very helpful if there could be some sort of somewhat steady schedule for you. You're willing to work whatever's required, but it would help you a lot as far as and say it like this, as far as just getting your mental health in check. Maybe that's something that can make him like start to reconsider and do something. So enjoying, I don't know how to spell it, but I mean no fun. That's a lot of work to unravel all those pieces for that Falcon, but it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, I was thinking that when all the freaking personal stuff on the back end dies down, I have so many Lego sets that I would love to maybe do live streams where I build them out, because I think that would be a lot of fun. Maybe I could do a little ASMR Lego building. Who knows? We'll see. But I thought that could be a lot of fun there. Annoying. Oh, okay. Yeah. Annoying. What's going on, Kakashi? Workout, bro? All right. Thank you. I try. So how's everyone doing? I know Ficon's having a good time. Well, trying to have a good time with this new Lego Millennium Falcon set. Oh, you actually got it back in 2015 or 2016. Hey, those are fun projects, man. Those are a lot of fun. So I can't wait. I can't wait to hear your progression as you go through all that stuff. Arnold is highly anticipating his chance to finally play Star Wars Outlaws in 2 hours. So I'm assuming what I said was right. Those who pre-ordered have early access play, right, to the game. So I'm assuming that's exactly how you're getting a chance to play earlier than most people. Three days early. Nice. Yeah, there was it. There was another game that was promoting that type of early access. Was it geez, what games are Indiana Jones. I saw them because I mostly spend a lot of time on my Xbox. And they kept showing, like, shoving promotions in your face about the new Indiana Jones movie. Not movie, game. And they said if you pre-order, you get early access. So you get, I guess it's the same situation where you get to play the game like 3 days early or something like that. Jester's in the building. What's going on, Jester? Always a pleasure seeing you here. How you've been? I hope you had a good weekend. Vicon said, when I was a kid, I used to love Lego Star Wars. I still do, but haven't got any sets recently. I feel like the most recent sets for Star Wars have been kind of boring or reissues, like repackaging, reissues like that. The more exciting stuff out of Lego is some of the non-Star Wars related stuff. You know, like the Back to the Future cars, the Batman stuff. I promise myself I will eventually get this. I love the Lego Gotham City kind of diorama from the animated series. That's something I definitely want to get because that would be a fantastic wall piece. Arnold loves the shirt. Thank you so much, Arnold. This is one of my favorite shirts I got from Star Wars Celebration. I forget which celebration, but I love that they did this run where they look like team shirts. So, Scorched, what's going on, Scorched? How you been? I hope you're having a good day, night, wherever you are. I hope you had a great weekend. How are things been? What did you catch up on? I feel like every time I see you, it's a good chance to let me know what movies you caught up on. Jester's about to watch the original Crow. Wait. Hold on. You're going to watch the original Crow for the first time? Oh my God. I am so envious of you right now. So I personally rewatched that movie because it is one of my favorite movies. And let's see. I want to say on Thursday, I rewatched the original Crow. It's 94, actually. I remember because I actually saw it in the theaters that year. It was a year before I graduated high school. And then I also rewatched the sequel, City of Angels. And yeah, it's City of Angels is just as bad as I thought it was. Not terribly bad, but not great either. So yeah, I am so envious, Jester. I can't wait to hear your reaction to The Crow. I'll tell you my reaction to the new Crow 2024 in a little bit. So, Scorched is doing good. Arnold say, "Would you fool me?" You say with every shirt, "This is." do I do that? That's pretty funny. I love my shirts. What can I say? I love my shirts. If I feel like a shirt is not a favorite of mine, I wouldn't have it. So there you go. Solar saying, I love the Crow's body. It reminds me to work out in goth clown face. That's the only way to work out. That's the new Peloton class that you can take. It's called Goth Workout. And it's basically just staring yourself in the mirror every time you get a new tattoo. And you have to flex. That's the new Peloton workout. So, what's up, Peloton? Show us your new tattoos and flex. That's basically what they do all day. Scorch saying, an amazing Japanese movie from 2016 called Survivor Family. I'm a big lover of Japanese cinema, so explain what that movie is. I've never heard of it. Tried watching Twisters, zoned out halfway. Really? Oh, that's unfortunate. Jester saying, well, I'll tell you I've got to watch it. I'll be back in an hour and a half. Okay, I should still be here, Jester. And my dad is back. What's going on? How you doing? Nice to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you're doing well. Been watching Mr. In Between. Is that a TV show? Watch Survivor Family. What is it about? Give me your elevator pitch for Survivor Family. All right, Jester, we'll catch you in a bit. I have some semi-old sets like Anakin and Obi-Wan Jedi Interceptors from 2016. I remember those. Darth Maul Interceptor, I remember that too. It just needs to be rebuilt. So you built them at one point, then you had to take them apart and put them back in the boxes, and now you're rebuilding them from scratch? Is that what's going on? I hope you still have all the instructions. Arnold saying he'll let Chewbacca tattoo his ass. Scorch saying the movie's fire. Does the Crow get revenge on his tattoo artist? Well, it's funny that you should say that. I'll talk more about that later. It's like the Obama movie. Oh, Solar Flare goes, no electronics work anymore. Oh, so it's like What We Left Behind, that Netflix movie. What We Left Behind? What Left Behind? Left Behind, not Left Behind, because that is the religious movie starring Kirk Cameron with multiple sequels. They keep leaving things behind. Stop leaving things behind, Kirk Cameron. I'm tired of cleaning up your shit. Sarda wants to shave Chewbacca. Actually, it would be more like shearing. I feel like the moment you shave a Wookiee's fur, you kill them instantly. That's their skin. There's nothing underneath it. It's just all fur. Like if you shave a portion of his chest, you're gonna see his heart. There are his or her heart. Okay, so something goes off, no electronics, no cars. Family has to bike for 45 days straight, and it's about the journey. Oh, dude, you got me already. That sounds like a movie I would actually really love. So I have to write this down because the thing I love about Japanese cinema, what they do so well, they do well with telling journey stories or day in the life stories. So the way you're describing it almost sounds like a mixture of the two. So I have to write this down. I don't know when I'll be able to check it out, but I have to check it out. This sounds like a movie I would love. So Survivor Family. Shit. Do I have room on this paper? Survivor Family. Japanese movie. Okay. That does sound like I would love that movie. Or I would, at least it interests me. So I need to check it out. Probably the best movie I've recommended to me. Look, one, it's a Japanese movie. I love Japanese movies. Two, the premise sounds very interesting. So, what's going on, Diogo? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're feeling classy and not assy. That's deep. My name is Renee. I am AKA the LOWKEY Geek, I guess you could say. But that is my name. Chewbacca's like Groot. But you know, Groot can eventually grow back his limbs. I don't think Wookiees can. But I was young back then, so I dropped the sets all the time, and eventually I did not bother to rebuild them until now. Old boxes for 3 years. Ficon, I don't know if you know about this, and I think you could get it directly from Lego themselves, but isn't there like a special spray that you can use to, once you're done building the Lego set, it will seal it so that if you do unfortunately drop it, it doesn't like fall apart. I think it keeps it intact. Did I see Best Player? Arnold, what's that? I don't know what Best Player is. That a movie? It's an Aussie show, Mr. In Between. Oh, wait, I think I've heard of this show. I've never seen it, but I think I definitely heard of it. You recommend that too? Top 5 TV shows, really? Of the year or of all time? Your name is LOWKEY E.T.? Oh, no. Hold on, let me see. Lego spray. I want to make sure I'm not talking out of my ass. Brick Shield. That's what it's called. It's called Brick Shield. Here, I'm going to share my screen so you can take a look at it. Brick Shield. It's a non-permanent spray on glue for plastic brick toys and other building blocks. Yeah. So not only does it kind of glue it together and kind of keep things together so that when you drop it, it doesn't fall apart, but it does also kind of provide like a certain layer over it so it can like help protect it a little bit too. So Ficon, I think this is something you probably have to get because this could save you in the future when you're putting together all your Lego sets. What the fuck, the trailer from last time? Which trailer, Arnold? The trailer from that movie. Yes. Sorry. I know exactly what you're talking about. The Nickelodeon movie. No, I haven't had a chance to see it. Dude, my time has been like all over the place. So I haven't really had a chance to do much of anything. So but you'll be the first to know if I do have a chance to see that movie. You'll be the first to know. I promise you that. Scorch saying that in Mr. In Between, top 5 TV shows of all time. MI says, just seen Longlegs over the weekend. You found the storyline stupid? I get it. You know, I think also, and this is the same problem that I think the original Blair Witch suffered from. If you weren't in on the movie initially when it first came out, the movie does get a little bit overhyped for you. The story itself is not like, it's not anything new or mind-bending or, you know, outlandish, but it's the way it's presented that I love, that makes me love that movie. Yeah, I still think, and I've seen quite a few other horror films / thriller films this year. I'm going to be watching a few more as the year goes on. I still think it's this year's best horror / thriller film. It's because it's creepy. Nicolas Cage's character is very creepy and very eerie. There's a lot of mystery behind him. And even though you kind of see what his motive is, we don't know how he got to where he was. And I think for me, that is the big draw of a movie like that. And the performances I thought were well done all across the board. The cinematography was really good. So the story in itself is very simple. When you kind of like boil it down and strip it down to its parts, it's a very simple storyline. But I really, really loved the movie. I thought it was just very well executed. But I do feel like there's so much hype about it that if you weren't in on it from the initial get-go, then I think eventually you're going to go into the movie expecting way too much, and then it's not going to hit you like it hits someone like me. Because I think I went into it only seeing maybe 1 or 2 like those mystery teasers that they did, and like 1 real teaser trailer. I went into it not knowing much of anything, and I thought it was really freaky. I really did. And a lot of people in the theater reacted the same way too. So I'm sorry that you didn't get that full impact of it, but I still think it's a very well done movie. Yeah, Ficon, if you're just going to like have them on the shelf, then you should probably get that spray eventually. Arnold, sometimes I feel like I do have Alzheimer's. The older I get, man, this noggin, I think anything that like, especially since I research a lot of things and I watch a lot of things, it pushes a lot of stuff out. So I do apologize. Oh, here's Scorch's rundown of his top 5 favorite shows of all time: Game of Thrones, Servant, Mr. In Between, Hot D. You know, get just some of that hot D. And WandaVision. I like the list there. I have Servant just ended, right? So that's a show I need to probably catch up on because I haven't watched any of Servant. Flycon, you want to dedicate a room just for your Star Wars collection? That would be amazing. Yeah, Scorch, yeah. Nicolas Cage modeled after his mom, so that kind of tells you what he had to grow up with. Scorch saying scariest movie I've seen in theaters. Oh, in theaters you only watched that and It Chapter 2? Barely knew anything. Yeah, I think that's really what helped, enjoying a movie like Longlegs, going into it semi-blind. Am I saying, yeah, I found it a bit hyped. Wasn't what I expected. You didn't see enough of Nick Cage. Well, that's the thing. That was the whole, like I said, the great thing that movie did is that it kept his thing such a mystery. His character was so mysterious that I find myself even now trying to figure out what's the deal with his character. Was he like you can't say this word on YouTube without getting flagged, but was he like a PDF? Was he, kind of into that and then something happened and he had to make a deal with Satan to get over that or whatever? His face is pretty mangled, so did something happen to him? AKA kind of like Freddy Krueger? Who knows? And that is like the greatest mystery of that movie, is that it lingers with you afterwards. Like, what's the deal with Nicolas Cage's character? Like, there's something going on there because everything else was able to solve itself by the end of the movie. But there's still that, and the one thing I love about this movie too is that there's a lot of things that happen in the background that if you pay attention enough, you'll see things pop up that probably you would have missed the first time around. So, and I caught certain things the first watch. Then when I watched it again, I was like, whoa, I didn't notice that over there. I didn't notice that over there. Oh, look at that through the window. I'm not talking about the window in the library. There's a window later on that you just see like, whoa. So there's a lot of, it just shows you that there's a lot of like evil lurking in a lot of the different moments of the movie. So it's really cool. Kevin Davis, DC Christopher Reeve documentary Warner should have put this on HBO Max instead of theaters. Well, okay. Kevin, first of all, love seeing you here as always. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to be reacting to that trailer because I haven't seen the trailer yet. So I'm going to be watching that in a little bit. I think putting this out, because Christopher Reeve is such a beloved guy. If you grew up in the 80s, he was just so well beloved and he was very well respected in Hollywood and to audiences in that. He was our Superman. We never thought there could be any other Superman but him. So I think they're doing that because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to actually go out and watch this thing. Plus, it's Superman, right? So I think it's a risky move. I get it. I don't disagree. It probably should have been just a straight to HBO, but I can see what they're trying to do. And look, after watching this last weekend's box office, I guarantee you it's going to do more money than at least The Crow did on the opening weekend. Ficon, I hope you have a good night. I'm glad you're able to chime in. Keep us posted on your progress with your Lego. What's going on, Kay? Checking in on the vertical stream. I'm sorry that I missed your chat earlier. It Chapter 3, The Crow. Kevin saying Lucasfilm going to take the wrong lesson from cancellation and act like less diversity inclusion. That's one of the things that really pisses me off about that cancellation. Yeah, okay, fine. People can say the writing wasn't great. I'm not defending it like that. But look, you're sending a wrong message to creators like Leslie Headland, to performers, actresses and actors like Amandla, and it's not a good look. It really isn't. And it just makes me feel like they're going to be so wary about taking risk in the future when they should be taking more risks. It's just, yeah. I have some there was like additional insights that released over the weekend that I'll be reviewing later on in the show too. So Christopher Reeves is a Superman icon. Absolutely. Till this day, and when you ask people who their favorite Superman is, you're going to hear a lot of people mention Christopher Reeve. Arnold, what are you in love with? Uh-oh. Are you looking at some naughty pictures? The Superman like the Batman, but not Matt Reeves. All right, I think I caught up with everyone's chat, right? Am I saying George Reeves, Christopher Reeve? We should have got Keanu to play Superman. Keep up the tradition. Oh yeah, that's right. Because of the Reeve, and it's funny too because it's Reeve, and none of them are related. Isn't that crazy? It's almost like some sort of weird Hollywood conspiracy. Where's the X-Files music? That's what we need right now. It was all predetermined by some sort of weird fate. But since we're on the topic of that documentary, like I said before, I haven't had a chance to check out this trailer yet. So let's do that here. We'll do a live reaction to this trailer. There's other trailers that have dropped in the last couple of days I do want to react to. So let's check them out right now. So the first one up is the new Super Dash Man or Slash Man, the Christopher Reeve story. It is a documentary about the later life of Christopher Reeve. I believe it takes place after his accident, his terrible horse accident that left him paralyzed. So let's check out that trailer right now, shall we? Copyright music. Copyright music. Superman. Yeah.
I am not a hero. That was a part. I played the part. I'm not that man.
Isn't it his son is going to be in James Gunn's Superman
from day one. I realized that if I could pull off this part, it would change my life. John Houseman said, Mr. Reeve, it is very important to become a serious classical actor. Unless, of course, they offer you a load of
That's
money.
one thing a lot of people don't know, that he was classically trained as an actor too.
He convinced me when I first met him that he would fly.
Doing things with my dad. It was all about activity and action. Riding bikes, playing soccer, skiing.
Wow, his son almost looks like him. Definitely has the same hair.
Competitive, and he didn't necessarily slow down.
We said goodbye and he gave this wave. That was the last time I saw him on his feet.
Oh, that's rough.
Mr. Reeve currently has no movement or spontaneous respiration.
Superman, crazy. Just that simple little thing over the horse.
I'd ruined my
Oh,
life
there's
and
actual
everybody
footage of
else's.
it? Oh my god.
I won't be able to ski, sail, throw a ball to Will. Won't be able to make love to Dana. Maybe we should let me go.
She came flying in, and she just yelled, "I love you. I love you."
And then she said the words that saved my life. You're still you, and I love you.
Oh,
He and
Heartbreaking.
Robin were such good friends because they could match each other.
Robin also had struggles that he dealt with his whole
oh
life.
yeah.
I
Him
think
and
that
Robin
they
Williams
both
had a
were
very
aware
close
of
friendship. That's right.
darkness.
Brother Chris is fighting like crazy. When you find people who fight like that but still keep their humanity, that gives you great hope.
That is tough because I can feel him, but he can't feel me.
It must have been hell for my mom too, knowing what she had lost.
Wow, Will Reeve looks so
I
much
needed
like his
to
dad.
do something not just for myself, but for everyone else in the same condition.
The fact that Superman was in a wheelchair and was willing to go public with it was huge.
Help is on the way.
Oh, I remember that. I remember watching that on TV.
Christopher and Dana Reeve Paralysis Act.
People are literally walking because of him.
What is a hero?
Oh,
My answer was that a hero
this is gonna be so emotional watching this.
someone who commits a courageous action without considering the consequences. Now my definition is completely different. I think a hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles.
Yeah, I remember this too.
I wouldn't have
That was
missed
at the
this for
Oscars.
world.
Oh, come on. How can you not want to see this? I would totally watch this in the theater. Wow. That is so impactful, so emotional. And a lot of people who didn't grow up at that time will never understand really the impact Christopher Reeve had in pop culture and in Hollywood. And yeah, I remember when he got paralyzed, that was like, it was big news everywhere. And how it rallied the whole thing about him pushing the needle in medicine for that type of treatment. And yeah, I remember him, that moment when he showed up on the Oscars. Oh, that was so heartbreaking. Yeah, I'm totally going to check this out. Totally going to check this out. I have to. That's like history right there, you know? It's like, it's exactly like, I would put this up there with like, if they did like a Michael Jackson documentary like this or whatever. But yeah, that's, oh, it's going to be super emotional for sure. So I was saying they should make a movie and call it The Superman. Arnold, I just got a message from Ubisoft. Every pre-order gets a special story that goes about Jabba the Hutt right at the beginning. Oh, that's awesome. Did they even market that? I feel like I've never heard about that. So that's awesome for everyone who's pre-ordered that stuff. Kevin Dave sent Alien Ryman's box office total run prediction 350 to 400. Yeah, I saw that same type of prediction from other outlets too. It's amazing how much money that movie is making. It's mostly international too, so that's really good. What's going on, Death? It's been a minute. How you been, man? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, Starlord, this is definitely going to be in theaters. James Gunn definitely has big shoes to fill. James Gunn just has a lot to prove at this point. He's already has a top quite a hill to climb on, or to get over, a hump, I should say. Arnold's even more hype now. Lamb Rexy, what's going on? Thank you for chiming in. Wolverine or Deadpool? Look, I grew up with Wolverine, so I'm always going to be a Wolverine guy. That's just me. Deadpool came out later, like in the 90s, but I was a Wolverine guy since like the 80s, so. But I love them both. Together, chef's kiss. Def is going good. Def says Deadpool for them. I think it all depends on when you grew up, honestly. Because if you grew up mostly in the 90s, I think you are more familiar with Deadpool and not as familiar with Wolverine as I was. I remember one of the very first comic books that I bought with my own money at the newsstand was Wolverine versus Hulk. And it's funny that that's why it was like a special moment when they had that particular throwback in Deadpool and Wolverine with the original brown and yellow suit and in the forest as he's about to, beat the hell out of the Hulk. That was one of the first comics that I bought in the newsstand with my own money. I still have it, and it wasn't a regular comic book either. It was like a supersized edition. So it was really, really good. Starlord saying Wolverine for him, even with the first film. Arnold's favorite is Blade. Blade is a good one too. I remember watching that in the theater. I remember when Blade came out, I was working at, where was I? I was working at Starbucks. That was my first job out of high school. And what my friends would do is, because I worked in the city near Times Square. Actually, I was in Times Square. They would come over Friday night, wait for me to close up the shop, and then we'll go catch the late night showing for the movie. And I remember we watched Blade, and our minds were blown. And I believe when I got my own DVD player, that was the first DVD I purchased, the Blade DVD. So yeah. All right, next trailer I want to check out is, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, there's a new Terminator anime coming out. I haven't watched anything from this yet, but from what it looks like, they released kind of like a red band trailer for this. So let's check out this new trailer for Terminator Zero. It's called a red band trailer for this anime series coming out on Netflix. Let's check it out. I haven't seen any of this stuff yet. So. I don't even know what period this takes place in. Oh, well, it's definitely bloody.
In a sea of uncertainty.
Oh, Skydance is involved in it too, huh?
Only one thing is clear.
Oh, Production IG is doing this? Oh, I'm in.
Worse. Before they get better. I need to stop Judgment
Oh, that's
Day.
Tokyo. So this takes place in Japan? That's funny. Yo, look at that crossbow.
The end of the world
what?
comes tomorrow.
You can stay and die, or you can come with me.
Comply or die.
I feel like this takes place maybe even before Terminator 2, or maybe slightly afterwards. Oh, damn. Oh. Yeah, they're not shying away from the gore and all that. Oh, let's take a look at some of the voice acting. Wait a minute, hold on. So you have Rosario Dawson, Timothy Oliphant, Sonoya Mizuno, Andre Holland, who I think that's Tom Holland's brother, and Dowd. Wow. All right. Look, I'm not going to say this a lot, but Netflix has several animated shows that I am actually looking forward to checking out. You got this, which looks fascinating. This is going to come out. Let's see. This is coming out on August. Oh, this comes out this week. What? Oh, August 29th is Judgment Day. Aha. So there you go. So that's coming out on the 29th. I can't wait. That looks like that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. You got the Tomb Raider animated series. That looks also like a lot of fun. I can't wait to check that out. And that's Haley Atwell as the voice of Lara Croft there. So, wow. Like I said, I don't get excited for like animation or anime like shows. I mean, Production IG, those are the guys that did Ghost in the Shell. And it does look very much Ghost in the Shell like. So that looks like that's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to check that out. Can't wait to check that out. What's up, everybody? Don't forget, hit that like button, will ya? Do something nice and hit the like button and spread the love. Show some love. What is the love, the love, the love? Come with me if you want to give a shit. Come with me if you want to take a shit. By the way, y'all, and Arnold may know exactly what I'm talking about. Look what I have next to me, because I've been given access to a certain game that I may have played on stream, the demo of, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. Can't wait to share more stuff with you guys. But yeah, I'm super, super excited. All right, next trailer on the list here is for that animated Lord of the Rings movie coming out this year called The War of the Rohirrim. I've been hearing a lot about this movie. The premise sounds interesting. However, I'm wondering at this point, is there just too much Lord of the Rings right now? You have Rings of Power Season 2 that's about to drop any moment now. You have this, which is separate from that, and not even the same creators, right? So this one is, I believe Peter Jackson is working very closely with Warner Brothers on this animated movie. Rings of Power is all Amazon, right? And then you have Peter Jackson that's working on an anthology trilogy of movies coming out soon, with Andy Serkis directing the first one. And again, it's going to be centered around our favorite character, Gollum, right? So is it just me, or is there too much Lord of the Rings right now? Or is there going to be too much Lord of the Rings? Is Lord of the Rings one of those IPs, franchises that maybe needs a little bit more of a break? Because I felt like what we got with the original trilogy was perfect as is. The Hobbit, we got it, right? It could have been better, but we got it. But now we're getting Rings of Power, which was not well received the first season. Now we got season 2 coming out. We got this animated movie coming out. We got the anthology movies coming out. So it just all feels like cash grabs to me. But before I crap on anything, I'm going to give it a fair shake. So here's the trailer for Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. Let's check it out. See, and you could tell, Peter Jackson, off the bat, this is the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings that everyone loves. Not the Rings of Power from Amazon that nobody loves. So it's nice that we're kind of going back to his Middle Earth with this storyline. Kenji Kamiyama.
All Middle Earth knows the tale of the War of the Ring. But 200 years before that...
It looks like... So this takes place 200 years before the Lord of the Rings? Then why are they showing Helm's Deep again?
We come with an offer to strengthen Rohan.
Hera, daughter of Helm, I, Wolf, seek your hand.
In a way, it kind of looks like Fist of the North Star to me.
Fathers speak as if I were not even in the room. I do not want to marry you.
You do not seek an alliance. You seek a throne.
I mean, the animation looks fantastic.
You will regret this, old man. He's dead. You will pay for this with your life.
With your life? This holiday season.
Never wished for war.
The boy you knew is gone.
Wolf, Hera.
So
Hera? Isn't Hera
pledged to fight for my king.
Kate Blanchett's character in
I'm the
Thor?
fastest rider you have.
People
Damn.
need hope, Hera. Something to believe in.
It looks pretty. Oh, we got the eagles.
My pride. My joy. You could.
Oh, that's the same octopus creature from from Fellowship.
You think I am afraid of you?
You should be.
It looks good.
What does Mordor want with rings?
Oh, they're going around collecting rings just for no reason. That's funny. It looks good. I have to say, it looks good. I'm actually pretty surprised at how good it looks. Let's see. I'm trying to read up more information here. 183 years before the events chronicled from the original trilogy of films. So basically, the story is around the fate of House of Helm Hammerhand, King of Rohan. So when they blow the horn in the Lord of the Rings, that's the horn of Hammerhand, right? I believe that they built. Let's see. Kamiyama is working closely with Philippa Boyens. What did Kenji, because that name sounds so familiar to me. I need to figure out what else he directed. What other anime he directed. Oh, he looks like he was involved in a lot of like old school anime stuff. Let's see. I'm looking up. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he worked with Production IG. So that's why it kind of looks like that same style too. But he worked on Jinro, Patlabor, Blood the Last Vampire. He also worked and he directed Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, the anime TV series. And he was a background artist for Akira and Kiki's Delivery Service. This guy has been in the business for a long time. And he also co-directed that Blade Runner Black Lotus show, which I never saw. Did anyone watch that? The Blade Runner anime show? I wonder if that's something worth checking out now. But that looks fun. That looks fascinating to me. I'm down. I'm all for it. What is Lord of the Rings? Looks like Castlevania. In a way, yeah. One does not simply walk into Mordor and wake up the Balrog.
I'm gonna come.
What's going on, Bobai? I hope that's how you say your name. I hope you're doing well. There is a lot of anime happening right now. And so far, I'm kind of for it. And like I said, I don't say that often. Where you have Lord of the Rings that I'm very much into watching. You have the Terminator one coming out. You have the Tomb Raider one coming out. I guess I'm going to be watching a good amount of anime towards the end of the year. So, yet we get Rings of Power Season 2 and no Terminator movies. I think we need a break from the Terminator movies. They just can't seem to solve that equation yet. So I think we need a break from that. And I don't mind an animated version of Terminator because at least they can do a lot of things through that. And if it's not great, oh well, it's animated, right? So I would be really interesting to see if we will ever get to see James Cameron come back to direct. He's too busy with Avatar. At least he tries to like produce or help produce these the more recent Terminator movies, but I think we need a break from all that. Moist Trash chime in with a very serious question. Would you rather be on death row for a crime you didn't commit, and the most important person in your life is free, but they committed the crime, or be free, but the most important person in your life is on death row for a crime you committed? Wow. That is like morality question right there. Honestly, in my head and the way I am, my personality, I would rather be on death row to save the other person. That's just me. What say anyone else who dares venture into answering a morality question like that? Star said we need more mucked up Terminator movies. Yeah, if you just want movies to kind of just make fun of, yeah, I guess. Am I dead yet? Saying I only like the first 2 Terminator movies. Well, the third one was okay, but not great. The rest are just dire. Yeah, they were trying. They were definitely trying. And what the hell was that with the last one, when Genesis? The one where, was it, in the first 5 minutes, they already kill off Edward Furlong's John Connor? The very bad deep fake of a young Edward Furlong. Was that Genesis or was that the other one? I don't know. The one where Lyndall Hamilton first came back. Yeah, that... and when I get to the whole Crow conversation, it's just there are certain properties that just need to just rest for a bit, or just never come back, and I would be okay with that. You know, honestly, I would be okay with that. Let's see. Next here on the list of trailers I wanted to quickly react to is, okay, this is a movie that I am actually I am very much looking forward to. Hold on. Before I pull this up, I just want to make sure, because there's some controversy behind this trailer when it was released. And I'll talk about that after this plays through an ad. I just want to make sure. Yep, this is it. Okay. So Francis Ford Coppola, Megalopolis, is finally getting distributed this year. I think Lionsgate is helping distribute it. This is a passion project of Coppola that he's been working on for a very, very long time. And it's going to debut at, let's see, or it already made its debut at Cannes recently. Standing ovation, yada, 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 all that nonsense, right? Great cast. You have Adam Driver, Giancarlo Esposito, Aubrey Plaza, and all that. Was really having a hard time finding distribution, but it looks like Lionsgate is going to help it. And they're trying to hype this movie up because not a lot of people know what this movie is, right? So they put out this trailer finally online. And same day they had to take it down. Why? Because there were some AI generated quotes in the trailer from fake reviewers. How crazy insane is that? But it goes to show you again the downside of AI right now, which is just freaking bonkers and all that. So they never put it back up. But other outlets that put the trailer out, like IGN, whatever, they still have the trailer up. And we've only seen a small tease of the trailer. So I definitely want to check how this movie looks like overall. The concept is it's a sci-fi drama. Adam Driver plays this very ambitious, wealthy kind of entrepreneur / architect, and he wants to build his perfect utopia. And this is basically that story of it there. And I think there's some supernatural elements to it. Kind of looks very like Blade Runner-like, but I think it'll just be interesting to kind of like see what is in store for us with this movie. So before I check into that, am I just saying Dark Fate? Yes, that is the movie that where in the first 5 minutes they kill off Edward Furlong. Arnold saying, the question, I would eat a sandwich. And I bet it'll be a cheesesteak sandwich. My dad said Emilia Clarke was just miscast. Emilia Clarke has been miscast in a lot of things. Haven't you noticed that? She was totally miscast in Secret Invasion too, I think, in my opinion. So I was saying it was a girl John Connor deepfake, yet we got more Feminators. Not my cup of gasoline. One of the best drawn series I've ever seen is the old series Search for Atlantis. Search for Atlantis. You're not talking about... Hold on. You're talking about the DreamWorks animated movie? Was it? The same people who did Iron Giant, I think it was? What's going on, Eidos? I hope I'm saying that name right. Eidos? You just followed. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I think I'm all caught up on chat, right? Yeah, again, if you're watching live, don't forget, hit that like button. Would greatly appreciate it. All right, here is the first official trailer, not the teaser that we got before, of Megalopolis. Francis Ford Coppola. And, you know, we haven't seen a movie from him in a very long time. And to this day, I still say that his Dracula, although be it kind of cheesy and corny, and acting was pretty bad, dialogue was pretty bad, what he did with the cinematography and directing of that movie is still brilliant. It's very underrated. All right, let's check this out. You take the red pill or the green pill or whatever pill. It's so funny hearing Lawrence Fishburne doing the narration for that. I'll be there for sure. It looks very interesting. It's very out there. It's very Francis Ford Coppola. I love how they were building up as that basically them telling a story that all the critics were wrong. Like all the critics just basically shat on all of his movies that later on became cult classics and classics in just movie cinema history. Godfather, Apocalypse Now, right? Even to a certain extent, Bram Stoker's Dracula. So they're saying that he's always been ahead of the time or ahead of the curve. And here's going to be another example of that. So watch it now, because in 10 to 15 years, everyone's going to be talking about this movie and blah, 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 this and that. It looks interesting. It does look interesting. He's definitely taking a big swing with this. And, you know, I'm all for it. Why not? I'm down. Arnold sent me a picture doing the scene from Men in Black. I never seen Men in Black 3. That's the one with Chris Hemsworth, right? I've never seen that movie. How dare I turn off Gandalf? We already saw Gandalf. We already saw that. Sarah Connor wasn't a strong character. She was beaten down, sent to hell and back, who almost started acting like Terminators. That is true. That is true. But I just wish the movie had a little bit more of an impact. It was just kind of like, okay, what's happening now? What are we doing? All right, hold on. Let me just check out this. Yes. This is the, oh yes, this is the Disney film. I believe the voice actor of the main character for this was Brad Pitt, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Or George Clooney. I haven't seen this movie in years, man. Atlantis. Watch. That's going to be a future live action remake. You'll see. That's eventually what they're going to do with that. Yeah. I remember really liking that, but that was around the time. And you'll notice that Disney has gone through these type of kind of roller coaster rides where they do a lot of movies that are musicals, and then they try to do more serious movies, right? Like, I think there was music in this, but it was definitely a little bit more serious. And it wasn't so well received, you know? Very much like the Black Cauldron in the 80s, which I personally like the Black Cauldron, but it was so panned and it was so shat on when it came out, because I think a lot of people, they just really prefer like the animated musical fare that Disney is so good at. You know, they took a lot of risks making movies like this. So Arnold, you still have the old comics? That's awesome. Yeah, I remember really enjoying that film, but I've never went back to revisit it. I actually own it on DVD. I should probably check it out whenever I have a chance. All right, last trailer I want to check out is, once again, I love A24, a brand new movie, A24. It's called Y2K. It stars Rachel Zegler, everyone's favorite internet punching bag, especially lately. You also have, let's see, it's directed by Kyle Mooney. If you don't know who Kyle Mooney is, he was once an SNL writer and actor. So this is, I believe, his directorial debut as far as full-length feature film. So we got Rachel Zegler, Jaden Martell, Julian Dennison, and Alicia Silverstone returning back to the big screen there. Good old Clueless / Batgirl herself. This looks like it could be a fun movie, so I need to check this out for sure. Sorry, saying she is the opposite of a Mary Sue molded in pure, unadulterated badass. Strong is an understatement. Star-Lord. He should be writing the TV guide synopsis of every movie that comes out. Tiny G is in the house. What's going on, Tiny G? Haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you're doing well. You are a big CEO. You don't have time. CEO, if you mean... I can't think of anything to say about that. chilling every day online? No, forget it. Forget it. I give up. My brain is not being that creative today. But I'm glad you see me as someone who is fully important. All right, let's check out Y2K. Who else here remembers when the whole Y2K thing was such a big deal? What was like some of like the craziest kind of stories that people would tell you about Y2K and how you're supposed to prepare for things and all that? Do you guys remember some of those stories from back then? I think for me, the wildest thing was to make sure that I wrote down all my bank balances just in case my money disappears from my account on Y2K. So I think that was like one of the craziest things I did maybe back then. If you got my TV guide, you won't need a TV. Why? Because you won't recommend anything? I kind of miss TV guides too, man. It's a waste of space and a waste of material now, but there was something special about getting that weekly little digest and flipping through the pages and just seeing, oh, look, on this channel at this day, at this time, I can watch this show that I don't want to watch. But this is what the show is about in like 5 words or less. There's just something very special about that, you know. All right, let's check out Y2K official trailer. Let's go. Oh, I love when A24 is very creative with their logos.
What's up, Laura?
We're actually going to this New Year's thing. It's going to be a total shit show.
Oh.
I love this guy from It. It's nice seeing him do more stuff. Is this gonna be like a comedy but like horror? You got this kid from Deadpool 2.
Take us away. So smooth.
Uh-oh. And then everything blows up. That guy looks like an Affleck. Uh-oh. Did the electronics come to life?
Dumbass. I use gel.
Yeah, well, use this, bitch. Oh my god, this looks ridiculous. Oh, what? The VCR comes to life?
Oh, shit. A Tamagotchi just...
Oh, Argyle's here.
Come on, we gotta go.
Oh, Jonah Hill's producing this? Oh yeah, this is full on like... What's that movie? It Ends With Us or something?
Bye-bye, human race.
We're talking global computer apocalypse. Sorry, guys. I guess you're...
Oh, that's Kyle Mooney right there. Oh no, look, it's a lawnmower man.
You don't know how this shit works. Grab a bike, grab a board, grab whatever you can.
This looks like this is gonna be hilarious. This also kind of, because since it's Kyle Mooney, it also kind of feels like an elongated SNL skit. Oh, see, yeah, especially with Kyle Mooney in it like that. All right, it's cute. Oh god, do we have to hear that song throughout the whole thing? All right, it's cute. It's cute. I could be down with that. I could totally be down with that. I mean, look, it's A24. They're always usually very good with creating some sort of like unique blends of genres. This is definitely going to be like one of those like horror, you know, slasher type comedies, which I'm all for. We're going to see Rachel Zegler do something different again, trying to be relatable. I don't know how that's going to work out, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of silly nonsense. And you know, every now and then you need that, right? So I'm cool with that. I'll be interested in checking that out for sure. This movie's so stupid funny. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the type of movie it's going to be. Superbad 2.0 does kind of have a vibe like that. Cheap version of the one Shudder movie where he kills his neighbor. Imagine your PS5 wants to play with you now. In a bad way.
I'm gonna come.
Did I know that they're making a new Narnia? No. It's safe for a Jonah Hill movie. It definitely has like it again, if you're familiar with the stuff that Jonah Hill produces, you know, sometimes he does team up with Seth Rogen. It's very much along those same vibes. So Gorman was good there, though. What's Gorman Scorched? I'm not sure I'm familiar with that. What did I just get into? What's going on, Clone Wars? I've just been reacting some of the recent trailers that dropped in the last couple of days. That was a trailer for Y2K, a brand new A24 movie. It looks like it's going to be like a horror slasher comedy, which I'm all for. It's going to be a bunch of silliness. We also saw the trailer from Megalopolis, Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, Terminator Zero, and the new documentary Superman Christopher Reeve story. So I've been reacting to a lot of that stuff there. Before we get into one of the main topics, and that is the weekend box office stuff, which we'll get to in just a little bit. So, but I hope you're doing well, man. They're doing now the next book for Chronicles of Narnia. It's the Chronicles of Narnia. Oh, Psycho Gorman. You know, I've never seen that. I know exactly what you're talking about now, but I have never seen that. Snow White and the Seven Potheads. Now it's Snow White and the Seven CGI weirdo-looking thingies. Scorched, you liked it? Cheap stuff? I'm always down for the cheap stuff, man. Like Late Night with the Devil, I really enjoyed that movie a lot. A lot. They did a really good thing with that. But you could tell it was done with such a very low budget, but it was entertaining and it was a great story. All I hear is your PlayStation wants to play with you in a bad way. Well, because the premise of Y2K, I guess, is that all the electronics come to life and all they want to do is kill people. That's kind of what it looks like. So when I saw the VCR shooting out a VHS tape to kill somebody, I was like, okay, this is the kind of movie we're getting into here. So I'm all for it. Oh, Arnold's waiting one more hour. He gets to play Star Wars Outlaws. Late Night is indeed fire, yeah. What movie is cursed? Scorched? Again, I appreciate all of you guys here. Make sure to hit that like button if you're having a fun time. Or if you like my hat or my shirt. Or if you like abs with tattoos on them. Hit that like button, will you? Yeah! All right, y'all. Let's get into our normal topic for a Monday. And that is the weekend box office. Let's check it out. Obviously, there were, let's see, 3 new movies that came out last weekend. None of them broke into the top 3. It was a very low earning weekend box office. Very low earning. But the big surprise, I guess not really a surprise at this point, but Deadpool and Wolverine back on top after this past weekend. So Deadpool and Wolverine pulled in $18.3 million over the weekend. New domestic total is $577.2 million, a little over $500 million. But if you look at the overall box office totals, you have $634.1 million internationally, making its worldwide total as of right now $1.2 billion. Let's give it up to Deadpool and Wolverine. Not slowing down. Well, it's definitely slowing down, but it definitely has long legs. See what I did there? Since we were talking about the long legs earlier. Anyway. But yes, Deadpool and Wolverine, there's been no news or any details as to when this is going to be available digitally yet. So I think that's one of the things that I think Disney has learned with Inside Out 2 that they may be trying to do with this. And they're trying to like prolong its theater life, its theater shelf life. And I think it's doing a great job with it so far. Alien Romulus, which was #1 last weekend, dropped to 2. 61% drop, which is huge for a movie like this. $16.3 million over the weekend, $72.8 million domestically so far. But look at the international number right here. $152.8 million internationally. Most of that coming from the China box office. And I'll show you kind of like the international breakdown here. Look at China. China leading the way with $26.1 million above all of the other international territories. Huge number. So because of that, worldwide box office in just 2 weeks, $225.6 million, which is phenomenal for a movie like this. I don't think anyone was expecting these type of totals here. So this is really fantastic. I think this is a big surprise hit of the summer. And I think by the end of its run, it has a lot of potential to get very close to $500 million here. I think it's really going to cap off around, I want to say 350. I think that's where it's going to cap out. But that is phenomenal numbers for Alien Romulus. And me personally, I know there are people out there who didn't like it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think it is well deserved. And if anything, that means more movies of the Alien franchise can potentially come out. And hopefully we can get more stuff from there. It ends with Us, the Blake Lively kind of domestic violence movie there. Came in third with $11.6 million. A lot of controversy with Blake Lively and the director going on. I didn't realize this was a series of books because there was a lot of talk and potential about sequels because the books continue. But now it doesn't look like that may happen, at least not with Blake Lively involved, because there's been a lot of kind of back and forth problems with her and the director, I guess, during filming and maybe now afterwards. But really amazing numbers when you really boil it down. 120 million domestically, 121 internationally, 242 million worldwide. That is a lot of money there for a movie like this, which normally in today's landscape does not perform well at all. So I think it's because of the messaging. Even though I heard the execution wasn't great, it still helped push this movie over. One of the new movies that came out this past weekend was Blink Twice. Channing Tatum starred. I believe this is Zoe Kravitz's directorial debut. $7.3 million opening domestic. Let's see worldwide totals here. Only 13.9 million. So not great at all. This wasn't really heavily marketed. I wasn't made aware of this movie much during or before its release. So I think the marketing suffered big time. I don't know how the movie is. I haven't seen it yet. I'm planning to watch this and another movie that came out this week, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Because this week, there's not a lot of big releases coming out this week either. So you have that. In fifth place, you have The Forge from Sony Pictures. I don't even know what this movie is. Let's see. I'm going to read the tagline here from the movie poster. Whoever wants the next generation, the most will get them. Okay. I have no idea what this movie is. Is this a faith-based movie? Maybe? I'm not sure. I'm not going to speculate. But it is a brand new movie. It came in fifth place, $6.6 million there. Twisters dropped from fourth to sixth, $6.1 million. Overall domestic, $248.5 million there. Worldwide total, $347 million. Like I said before, very good numbers for a movie like that. Coraline still continues to be in the top 10 with its Fathom Events re-release to celebrate its anniversary. $5 million over the weekend. $106.9 million Now, I think they're adding all of the totals ever since it first released back in 2009. So it's just adding to that total. But it's amazing how this past weekend it did 5 million. The previous weekend, if we go back, it did 9.8 million. So what's the math there? 15 million roughly for a re-release of a movie from 2009? That's why you'll see more and more studios doing this when anniversaries come around. And here we go. The Crow. 8th place. Not even breaking the top 5. With $4.6 million domestically on a budget of $50 million. What a disappointment. Internationally, only $166,000. I don't think it's really playing many places internationally. So maybe there's going to be a slow rollout for that. You know, so I will say this before I go into my thoughts and review on The Crow. I think it deserves a little bit more. What? I'll tell you why in a little bit. But we have in 9th place Despicable Me 4. $4.2 million, $348 domestically overall. This has been a powerhouse ever since and will continue to be so, especially when you look at the worldwide box office numbers. $886 million worldwide. We're going to see more Despicable Me's in the future. Inside Out 2 in 10th place, still pulling in $2 million, even though it is now officially on video on demand. 646.2 domestically with a worldwide total of $1.6 billion. So very, very great numbers there overall for Inside Out 2. Just falling out of the top 10 is Trap. M. Night Shyamalan's Trap, not doing so well domestically, $38.4 million. I think he needs to do more team-ups with Blumhouse in the future. Keep the budgets a little bit lower. But worldwide, 71.6 million, not bad. Not bad at all. It's not a terrible movie, just not great. And then you have all the rest there. In Borderlands, well, 400, not even making $1 million this past weekend. Not even making $1 million. And it's going to be available on demand digitally this week. So that is the weekend box office. Very small stuff. Not a lot of things to talk about, really, except for the amazing accomplishments of Deadpool and Wolverine. Alien Romulus. It Ends With Us. Great accomplishments all around. The surprising accomplishment of the re-release of Coraline. And like I said, and this is something I would definitely love to do a video on later on, and talking about these re-releases that these studios are doing to help celebrate anniversaries and how it's becoming very profitable for a lot of these studios to do so. So we're going to be seeing more, that trend continue more and more as we go along. Which will now lead me into why I think The Crow deserved a little bit more than 8th place. But before I do that, let me just make sure I catch up with the chat here. Arnold saying, in the game, I just have to get used to the fact that I have tattoos.
Yeah! I'm gonna come.
Get used to it, Arnold, but try not to play with yourself too much. All right, Starlight saying, congratulations to all the cast of Deadpool and Wolverine who are now richer than Donald Trump's toilet paper. Is that like a 300 thread count toilet paper? Probably, right? That sounds about right. Gonna make your orange tushy nice and comfy. And probably not that clean. You know, knowing him. I feel like he's like a one and done wiper. Because he's too busy. He's like, I don't have enough time to wipe my ass. I'll have Melania lick it later. You blew it! But anyway, let's talk about The Crow, 2024 Crow. So, many of you who've known me for some time now have heard me say on numerous occasions that the original Crow movie in 1994 is one of my favorite movies of all time. If you go to my Letterboxd, the LOWKEY GEEK on Letterboxd, it is my top 4, along with Lost in Translation, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, and another movie that I always tend to forget which one it was, because it can change. It could be Ghostbusters, it could be Back to the Future, it could be any of those movies. But The Crow 1994 holds a special spot in my heart. It came out around a time when I think it was very telling of the culture zeitgeist, right? I was in high school. A lot of my friends, were part of the whole goth thing, metalheads, grunge people. It was all mixed in together there. And when this movie came out, it spoke to that culture, that subculture, the gothic culture, right? Had a great soundtrack. You go to Hot Topic, you'll see all the t-shirts, the movie posters, all that stuff. It came out at a perfect time. It was directed decently. It was acted brilliantly by the late Brandon Lee, where he died filming that movie. And in the heart of the story, even though you have your action, you have your supernatural elements, it is a romance story. Yes, it could be seen as a revenge movie too, but in the heart of it, it is about romance. It's about love, unconditional love. And that's one of the reasons why he, Eric Draven, was brought back to life to right the wrongs of the deaths of himself and his fiancée, Shelley, in order to reunite with her in the afterlife, right? Plus, he also happened to save the little girl who got herself into mess, family friend, I guess you can kind of say, in Sarah, right? Great movie. I watched it recently. It still holds true, more so than a lot of movies at that time, right? Maybe I'm a little biased because I love that movie so much. It is what it is. Now, fast forward, this movie has been in the works now for over 10 years, right? It's been in the works for a very long time. It's been in development hell for a long time. They've really tried to capture that lightning in the bottle with The Crow. The City of Angels came out, but that was more of a studio thing. It's like, we need a sequel to this because the first one was very well received, made money, blah, 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 this and that. Quick write-up. It was terrible. Then there was 2 other movies that came out after that. There was even a TV show that revisited the Eric Draven character for whatever reason, right? But here we have this new movie. The director is, hold on, let me just pull this up. The director is Rupert Sanders, who is better well known for movies like Snow White and the Huntsman, I believe. And let's see, what's the other movie? Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson, which got into a whole bunch of controversy because of casting a white actress in a Japanese role, right? And of course, Snow White and the Huntsman it was a movie. So obviously, knowing that he was attached to this, it would just be like, uh-oh, what are we getting ourselves into, right? And of course, there were a lot of people who were attached to this film when it was first conceived. Bill Skarsgård's brother, the guy who was in The Northman, was originally cast in this movie. It's funny how it went to his brother. The main villain of the movie is Danny Huston. His son, I think his son's name is John Huston or something like that, was part of the movie originally. So it's funny how it went to his dad. And then you have songwriter and musician FKA Twigs, female known as Twigs, I guess, if you talk about it in the long run, as the Shelley character, right? And of course, we got the teaser trailers and the trailers for all that, and a lot of discourse when the trailers came out. This is not my Crow. There's only one Eric Draven. This looks nothing like the original. What are they doing? Yada, 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 yada. All right. Even I was very skeptical. I was just like, oh man, I don't know about this. They're definitely trying something different, right? Here's the biggest mistake they did in this movie. The biggest mistake they did, and no, it's not the biggest mistake isn't them making it, was that they had to use the character names of Eric Draven and Shelley. They could have just renamed them rename the main character, make him Bob Fuckhurt, you know, whatever. They could have named the girl Jessica Shitstain. It doesn't matter. They could have given the different names. There was no reason to give the two character names, Eric Draven and Shelley, because everyone's going to associate them with the 1994 movie. And I'm seeing a lot of like the reactions online when this movie came out, and it's pretty much that. It's pretty much, this movie is abysmal. This is not the Eric Draven that we know, blah, 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 and whatever, right? I read the original James O'Barr comics. I love the original James O'Barr comics. And the closest that we got with those comics as far as adaptation is concerned is the 1994 movie. What they tried to do here is take the ideas and concepts from that movie and the comic books and did their own spin on it, right? They tried to make it different and unique. And that I give them respect on. There was no rehash of anything that we saw in the 1994 movie. There was no callback, no reference. The soundtrack, it's its own unique soundtrack, which wasn't that bad. You had groups like Joy Division in this. Enya, which was an interesting choice. You know, just to name a couple of the artists that I caught in the credits. You know, they tried to create their own soundtrack. This is basically their attempt at attracting the modern audience, today's youth, to this Crow storyline, which I think was a good, a respectful shot they did, but I wasn't sure as to what audience they were looking to capture with this. You know, because when you looked at the trailer and you heard the music and all that, you're like, wait a minute, are they trying to attract the younger generation that goes and listens to like Travis Scott and all that? You look at the clothes and everything, you're like, okay, what age range are you looking to attract here? I still cannot really figure it out, right? But when I saw this movie, the one thing that it reminded me a lot of is Bones and All. If any of you saw that movie Bones and All, starring Timothy Chalamet, about the kind of flesh-eating people that found each other, and they have to deal with the fact that this is their sickness, and then they have another guy who's like kind of like an older guy that wants to have a family, meaning like wants to have a connection, and they have to try to like defend themselves against this guy because he's a little nuts and crazy and all that. It reminded me a lot of that movie, and I actually enjoyed that movie. It's not a great movie, but I actually really enjoyed it. But this tried a lot of things different and made the storyline a little bit more raw and grittier. And what do I mean by that? There wasn't like an instant supernatural element with the main character played by Bill Skarsgård. So instead of him immediately seeing that he can do this and do that and all those kinds of things like that, which in 1994, you see Brandon's character slowly figuring things out as he's going along, right? But he picks things up like this, right? In this movie, there's a grace period of afterlife, limbo, realization of what's really happening. Maybe I could do something. Oh, wait, I can't. I'm confused. I don't think I can do this. Well, how serious are you? I'm very serious. Are you sure? It's like, yes. All right. Now we'll put in you the power of the crow or whatever. They don't say it like that. I'm paraphrasing. And then he finally gets the supernatural powers that we all know the crow to have. But initially, it wasn't all fully there, right? So it's kind of like a lost souls moment where he's like trying to figure things out. He's still dealing with the fact that he's actually dead, right? He's still trying to solve why did Shelley die? Why were they after us? You know? And then I really need to do this because my love is that strong. Is it though? Because they have a moment where his love kind of broke and his powers were suffering because of that. because his supernatural abilities all rely on his unconditional love for Shelley. And the minute that wavers, so does his power. Never seen them do that before. Okay, very different, very unique, right? Plus, the two main characters are not innocent characters. They all have troubling past. They've all done stuff that doesn't make them pure. You know, and yes, I am talking spoilers, but just a little bit spoilers here and there, whatever. But you see like little flashbacks of Eric when he was a kid, living on a farm, kind of like a deadbeat mom. Maybe she was into drugs or whatever. He got mad because a horse he loved got killed. And she wasn't doing anything. Negligent, all that stuff. So what it looks like is that he ended up burning the house down with her in it. Troubled past, got into drugs, all that stuff like that, went into rehab. Shelley, musician, got into the wrong crowd, then got into the same place where, you know, the main villain has the power, very similar to David Tennant's character in Jessica Jones, the voice of Satan, has the ability to influence you to do whatever he wants you to do. He influenced her to kill somebody at this party, and she did, under the influence. But again, not a clean history. She got her hands dirty. Very different from all the iterations of the characters within the Crow movies that we've seen before. And for that, I also give him props of trying something different. And the main villain, yes, very supernatural, made a deal with the devil to make him live forever. And the sacrifice he has to make is that he has to lure these young souls and feed them to the underbellies of hell. Even if they're innocent. He just the innocent, the better. It's like fine wine. It's like filet mignon to Satan, right? And now, you know, they had to kill these two because Shelley had evidence of what happened. He didn't want this to come out, so they had to kill her. Eric just happened to be there. Wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time. Right? And initially, when Eric comes back, he's like, what's happening? Why is all this happening? Why did I die? Blah, 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 blah. When he finds out what Shelley did, his love wavered a little bit. It's like, oh my God, she's not innocent. Right? Oh, I'm hurting now. Uh-oh. Go back to limbo. Where you have like this usher. He's like the keeper of the limbo universe or whatever. The dimension between heaven and hell. And he's the one that helps explain things. Maybe even too much so. Because if you go back to the original movie, there wasn't a lot of explanations. They did it creatively by allowing the audience to kind of put the pieces together, right? Yeah, they'll have a little exposition here and there, a little explaining here and there. You know, we were guided through the eyes of Sarah, the little girl, who was innocent to all of this. But she was our guide to everything that was really happening and everything. But here, you have this guy that explains everything. Even to the point where it's just a little bit too much explanation. And he's like, well, I don't want her soul to stay in the underbelly. So I'm going to sacrifice my soul for hers. What? You're going to do what? Are you sure? Yes. Because that wasn't Shelley who did that. She was forced to do it. And I'm willing to sacrifice myself in order to save her because she's innocent and because I love her. What? And that's what happens. He goes back full Crow mode. I'm going to put my makeup now. I'm the Crow. goes into this crazy killer spree, this and that, and then goes toe to toe with Devil Guy, which they kind of do the stupid thing I hate that they do, where in order for them to really fight, he has to absorb the same powers as the guy. They did this in The Crow too, City of Angels, which I laughed at. It was so stupid. And then now he kind of has the crow blood in him, and because of that, that means he's able to now transverse into the limbo universe, which Bill Skarsgård kind of pulls him into. And said, now that I have you here, here are all the lost souls that you condemned to this, and they want revenge. And they kill him, they absorb him, and all that. And because of that, he was able to save Shelley. And here's the twist. Eric is now stuck in limbo for eternity. But Shelley's soul was saved. She gets to live again. So it's not so much of a story of I'm doing this, seeking revenge to be able to reunite myself with my love in the afterlife. No, no, no. She now gets to live in the real life because of me. But I'm stuck. I sacrificed my own soul for that. Very interesting take. Very interesting take. And because of that, I really appreciated it for it. I appreciate the swing that they took with this movie. You know, and they left it where it was very self-contained, but there was this one line he said at the end where he's like, and I'm stuck here to Rome for now, or something like that. Could lead to potential sequels. I don't care. Look, you look at the box office, they're not making another one of these. This is one of those properties and franchises that no one cares about anymore, unfortunately. It had a time and place in the 90s, and that was it. If they continued this storyline, maybe they made like animated shows, new comic books, right? If this was somehow in the atmosphere of pop culture, nerdom, all that stuff, then maybe movies like this can succeed. But this is a dead franchise. It's dead. No one cares about this anymore. They tried. I mean, this was a huge try. This was a big shot they took with this movie. And I have to say, I didn't hate it. I really didn't hate it. Surprisingly enough, I surprised myself after leaving the theater last night and saying, I didn't hate that. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. And that's crazy because I was going in there expecting to hate this thing. But no, there were a lot of things I really appreciated that they tried to do. But the biggest mistake was keeping the character names in there. They should have just named them differently and left it at that. So that way, no one will just hold the 94 Crow so far above this that there's no other comparisons. Like, if you're not this, then it's not my Crow. Doesn't have to be. You'll always have this. This is definitely a different take on the whole storyline. And for what it's worth, I thought it was okay. My biggest problems, like I said, kept the character names in there, didn't have to do that. Too much exposition and explaining. There's so many moments where it was building up into everything that we just eventually just wanted to see. You didn't have to tell us all the story and lore of the Crow. Let the audience try to figure it out as he's working it out, right? We didn't need like a visual and audio guide from the afterlife into the real life, into the limbo universe, all that. We didn't need all that. Too much exposition and too much buildup. Even though it was nice to see how the romance started. We didn't really see that in the original. All we got were flashbacks. But the flashbacks were good enough in the original that it made us see, yeah, these two really loved each other. They really gelled. But here we saw the whole journey. Them meeting in rehab, immediately falling in love with each other. Like there was an attraction that was like immediate, which I think was kind of forced in a way. But you had two broken people. That's basically what they are. They're broken people that, quote unquote, fell in love with each other. But the way I look at it, it's more of like a dependency. So is this really true love? That's like a big question I had while watching this too. Is it really true love? Or is it because you share similarities and you kind of depend on each other to kind of, you know, be able to console each other because of their past and the things that they've done before? You know, there is a difference between actual love and codependent love, right? And I feel like this was a more codependent thing. Yeah, I know I was willing to kind of like push that aside, but that was very glaring. It was very, very glaring. But we got so much of that buildup. You know, them escaping rehab, trying to be nomads. They're like bohemian nomads that have very unique hipster fashion sense. And yes, she is a musician, and so is he. They are very creative. You have to be a creative somehow in the Crow universe. Eric Draven was a rock musician, right? Shelley was a poet. In part 2, the main guy was a magician. Pick a card. Oh my God, awful. Here, you know, Bill Skarsgård's Eric Draven. He draws, he writes, and she plays music, plays piano, and sings. So at the end of the movie, when she gets back, she brings herself back to life, or they bring her back to life, thanks to Eric Draven. The songs that they were working on are the songs that she's performing now, to kind of carry on the memory and the tribute to Eric Draven and their love, their codependent love, right? So they kept a lot of those kind of similarities in there. Acting wise, I thought Bill did a pretty good job. I was very questionable about him in this role because of I've never seen him really act to this caliber. Was he going to be charming? Was he going to be, you know, charismatic? You know, I could see that he could do action. Saw that with Boy Kills World. And the action scenes here, fantastic. Very brutal. The most brutal stuff I've seen in a Crow movie. More brutal than the first one because it's raw. He didn't all of a sudden know karate or kung fu. He all of a sudden didn't know really how to shoot guns or use a sword. He was still trying to figure it out, but he knew he was invincible, so he used that to his benefit to just kind of bum rush people. And that's what he did. He bum rushed people with his sword, with his gun, whatever. It was raw. If that was something that happened to me, I could see myself kind of do that stuff, right? That's how I would approach things because I don't know kung fu. I don't know how to fight, right? So hell, if I can't die, just rush in there. F it. And that's kind of what he did. And for the most part, I thought the action in itself was very well done. The acting between him and female known as Twigs was decent. You kind of couldn't believe the chemistry a little bit, but I thought it was a little forced. And her acting is better than I've seen other people act who've never acted before. You know, I also just don't like the whole thing where if you're going to make a movie and redo or reimagine a character, why does the character have to be so over the top as far as looks is concerned? Bill has all of these tattoos all over his body, very much like Jared Leto's Joker. You know, why did he have to be all tattooed up and everything like that? You know, for the most part, and this is no shot at female known as Twigs, but most of the time she looked like she was sleepy throughout the movie. And maybe that's just her face, you know? But she looked kind of dopey. I'm sorry. Again, no offense to her. And Bill's acting, his character, was kind of dopey too. Kind of like, I don't know what's going on in here. But very clumsy. He got so many innocent people killed because of him. We were speaking of tattoo artist. Tattoo artist was a major friend of both of theirs and helped Eric hide out for a bit, gave him his first gun and all that. And because of Eric's dumb movements, not checking where he's going or who's following him, brought the bad guys to the hideout, and Tattoo Guy died because of him. Crazy stuff. Crazy. There was one funny moment, though, and this is when Eric comes back and he's like all crow-like. He's all imbued with the crow blood, where he kills everyone in the same tattoo place. And he's sitting on the couch. Tattoo Guy, bullet in the head, just dead. Other guy next to him dead. And he's smoking a cigarette, just hanging out in between them. As he's looking at the phone and like trying to figure out his next steps. And he's like, oh, hold this for me. So there was a little bit of like that kind of maniacal, psychotic humor that kind of like you saw with Brandon Lee's portrayal of the Crow. You saw a little bit of that. And there was definitely a little bit of showmanship, especially during the whole opera sequence, which I thought was really nicely done. Very brutal. You know, a little bit of showmanship. But it just begs the question. I don't know if this was a movie to do today. And I don't know what audience you're trying to capture with this. If this is this generation's Crow, what generation are you looking at? I still couldn't figure that out. But at the end of the day, I haven't logged it yet, but I will give this a 3 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. Not terrible, but not extremely good either. But I respect that they tried something different. And I really think because of the whole moniker of the Crow and the names of Eric Draven and Shelley, I think people should give this movie a chance. They're not going to go out in the theaters to do it, and that's perfectly fine. Well, when it's available on digital or streaming, I think you're going to be hearing more people talk about this movie when they actually allow themselves to watch it, if they ever decide to. And I think you should. And of course, formulate your own opinion. But I think at the end of the day, this was a decent attempt at trying to revitalize this Crow franchise. But as we can see, it's a dead franchise. That's it. I don't want to hear any more about this. They should just put this in the vault, lock it up, be done with it. Over. We had what we had, and that's it. It was a fun ride. We'll always have the original. We'll always have the comic books and the graphic novels, and that's it. We don't need this anymore. And I think, you know, we say this a lot. The best way to let studios know you don't want something is with your wallets. Don't pay for it. Don't buy into it. And we saw that happen for sure this past weekend. Will I say this is a bigger flop than Borderlands? Absolutely not. A $50 million budget compared to a $115 million budget? Yeah. It's not the biggest flop of the year. But it's definitely one of the biggest disappointments. But that's just my take on The Crow right there. So take that as you wish. So let me know, after hearing me talk endlessly about The Crow, would you allow yourself a chance to watch this movie when you have a chance to? Let me know in the comments. All right, let me catch up on the chat. I'm sorry if I missed stuff. Let's see here. Starler said, no anime. You wouldn't want to see a Crow anime? I would. If done in the style of Death Note, I would totally be down for that. Brutal action is not enough, or it just gotta be the highlights. Agreed. But I think this movie does have a good mix of what you would expect or what you would want in a Crow movie. Execution, that's all viewer dependent on their take. You go to Deadpool and Wolverine for my violent desensitization, and you don't ever buy movies. Well, there you go. That's Star-Lord 7 for you. The Knight Rider himself. Moist Trash back with another morality question. Would you rather not be able to control your laughter or not be able to control your tears? What? I feel like these are like those, like, are these modern day SAT questions? Or are these like the kind of questions the doctor will ask you to see if you're depressed? or if you're going through depression. Let's see. Would you rather not be able to control your laughter or not be able to control your tears? Well, honestly, this one of these things actually happens to me. I have a hard time controlling my tears because my tear ducts react to many different things. I cry when I'm laughing. I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm nostalgic. I cry when I'm sad. I cry when it's freezing cold outside. So I don't need to answer this question because it already happens to me. Funniest story. I went on a first date with somebody once. And it was one of those dates that it lasted for like 5-6 hours because we were just enjoying our time. And we're having a good time. It was in the winter. And I walked her home to her apartment, you know, just to say goodnight and all that. And we actually kissed and all that stuff. But she saw I was crying. And she's like, oh my God, are you crying? And I played it up a little bit. I said, I'm crying because I don't want this night to end. And I don't want to see you leave. And she's like, oh no. I was like, I'm just kidding. I have this problem with the winter. True story. True story. So there you go. Reminder again, if you're watching live, don't forget, hit that like button, everybody. We'll make everybody here extremely happy and grateful. I'm grateful for all of you here, all of you who are still here. I love you all. So yeah, so that's The Crow. So I do think it sucks to see it like do so badly or do so poorly, but at the same time, I get it. I understand. I think it just deserves a little bit more if people are willing to give it a shot. And if not, I totally understand that too. All right. I think, Arnold, if you're still there, I know Arnold says he's hungry. I hope you're eating a cheesesteak sandwich and wherever you are right now. But are we playing Star Wars Outlaws yet? Would love to hear your thoughts on it. Also, I'm checking my phone as I tend to do during the streams, just to always ensure and make sure that the world is not burning around us. And it's a slow news day, for sure. Because normally I have a lot of stuff waiting for me to check out, but not a lot of stuff. It's also the end of summer. We're approaching a holiday weekend. I think a lot of studios and people in the industry are slowly getting themselves ready for their last summer hurrahs before the fall stuff. So, you know, I'm not expecting a lot of big news to really hit this week for sure. Starlight saying, I remember your reaction to the Crow trailer. That's how fast all these movie releases. Yeah, I know. And it's going to get faster and faster. Faster and more furious. Especially moving into next year, because we have a lot of movies that had been pushed back because of the strikes that we went through last year, obviously pandemic and all that. So yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of fast movement as far as releases are concerned going into 2025 and 2026. You know, and there's going to be movies for everyone. Movies for people that may want those movies or not. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be something. And we haven't even finished this year yet. There's still a lot more to come. And like I said, this week alone, not a lot of big movies coming out. So this is like a perfect week for someone like me to like catch up on stuff. But the only quote unquote major movie coming out, and I'm saying that only because maybe it's had more marketing put behind it. Afraid, the AI movie, that's basically it. And even that, I guarantee you, not a lot of people are aware that that movie's even coming out this week. So, all right. Let me get some liquids in me. Here, let's have some liquid music. I'm drinking my coffee and some water. I need to hydrate because coffee doesn't hydrate, but it makes me awake. Let's go. Ew, don't say put liquid in me. Put some liquid in me.
I'm gonna come.
All right. Enough of that nonsense. God damn it. Let's talk about some news, shall we? By the way, I have to share this because this is hilarious. This is, every now and then the internet does, pleasantly surprise me with things like this. And this is one of the funniest things I've seen online over the weekend. And this was a Twitter post that I just came across. And you just have to see this. It's so funny. All right. The editing that this guy did is brilliant. I love the swipe. It's so good. It's so good. Why is it so good? Why is that so damn funny? Is it just me? Oh, man. Hilarious. I love it. All right. So I alluded to this earlier when the stream started. Obviously, because of the whole cancellation of the Acolyte and all that, I knew we were going to be hearing more news coming out. So Jeff Snyder, Scoops extraordinaire Jeff Snyder, he has this newsletter that he puts out daily that you have to pay for. But sometimes some of the news articles he allows you to buy for $1. I'll buy that for $1. And he has a lot of inside source news and updates as to what led to this cancellation of the Acolyte, plus who they nearly cast and all that stuff. And I followed up some of this news with some other research I did news-wise as to what other people are saying. So I was very passionate last week about my problems with them canceling the Acolyte because it just sets a bad precedence out there as far as creative, as far as representation and all that. But also it just proves again, Disney and Lucasfilm are clueless with the Star Wars franchise. So here we go. Inside the decision to cancel the Acolyte who nearly played Saul and the future of Lucasfilm. Earlier this week, Deadline broke the news that Lucasfilm opted not to proceed with the second season of its Star Wars series, The Acolyte, which hailed from creator showrunner Leslie Headland and wrapped its first season in mid-July. Well, there has been a lot of hand-wringing online about what might have happened to the show and what could still happen regarding its availability on Disney+. I'm told by sources I trust that there's no big mystery to be solved or conspiracy afoot. Insiders explain that the Acolyte was canceled because viewership was bad, and that there's really nothing more to it than that, even though at least one cast member said they were surprised by the decision. I'm told that the Acolyte's viewership collapsed following the first 2 episodes. That's really quick. That's really quick. I wonder if that is the same amount of time the Book of Boba Fett suffered. Like after the first 2 episodes, I could only imagine. Whereas with Andor, viewership steadily climbed throughout the season, so the show was renewed for season 2. Andor also drew exceptional reviews, whereas the Acolyte's reviews were more mixed. I wouldn't say mixed. They were all negative, especially when you trust outlets like Rotten Tomatoes and all that. Like all shows, The Acolyte was subject to an extensive notes process, but at the end of the day, it was very much the show that Headland wanted to make. You can blame Lucasfilm for a lot of things, but not this one, said one source. If more people watched it, then it would have been renewed. Furthermore, I'm told that there are no plans at all to remove The Acolyte from Disney+. So while certain merchandise is no longer available online, that's either a supply chain or product development issue, and it has nothing to do with the show's renewal or a lack thereof. So what this is referring to is that, the online conspiracy theorists and all that, they were noticing that on the Disney website, on the Disney store, that you could no longer find any merchandise based off of the Acolyte. I think there was like one or two things that was basically still available, but everything else was completely stripped from the website. I think like what they're saying here, coincidence, supply chain problem, maybe they already sold out of that stuff. It happens from time to time. I think it was just coincidence. I don't think there was a conspiracy theory to like ban all of this merchandise and products from a show they just canceled, because at the end of the day, Disney wants to make money. People will still buy stuff regardless of a show still being around or whatever. If they like it enough, they'll buy it. And then if you have 40,000 people signing an online petition to try to renew the Acolyte, if they're going to do that, they're still going to support the show by buying merchandise. That's just how it works, right? Also, what this is referring to is the whole Willow situation. When they canceled Willow, they stripped it from the service because they wanted to avoid paying residual checks and residual pay to actors involved in the show, which I still think is pretty dirty and rotten for them to do so. I think eventually, I don't know if it's done yet, but I think they license it off to other platforms if they want to play it and have it on their system. But there's no plans for them to do that here. And that was another discourse online saying, oh, they're going to give it the Willow treatment and all that stuff like that. No, that's not happening here. Another thing that they touched on here was the whole thing about the renewal and how much of the show was Leslie, how much of it was Kathleen Kennedy, blah, 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 right? Because everyone constantly says that bad Star Wars is because of Kathleen Kennedy. Now, you can maybe say, yeah, Kathleen Kennedy hired Leslie Headland to write this show, but at the end of the day, it was Leslie Headland's show that we saw. Doesn't sound like there was any interference, and from what we're seeing here, Kathleen Kennedy didn't have her cents in there, her 2 cents in there. Disney proper management didn't have any sense in there, which is the problem. And I think there should be some interference. If they saw that where this thing was going to go and it looked kind of wonky, then maybe there should have been some outside interference, just a bit. Just to say, hey, wait a minute, I don't know if this is going to float or if this is going to work. Maybe you should tweak this a little bit, tweak this there. It sounds to me like she was just given all of what she was wanting to do, which will lead into the next topic about casting later on. I also read elsewhere that they were in the middle of actually doing a treatment for season 2. And what Disney did was that they took a little break and then they looked back at the numbers, and that's when they finally decided to axe the show. Well, not renew it. But Leslie was in the process of working on a treatment for season 2. Now, one of my biggest complaints, I said, is why cancel it? They could learn from their mistakes and move on with a second season. We've seen it done before. Just replace Leslie Headland. Put in a new showrunner in there. Shows have done that before in the past. And someone that can like course correct the ship, which could easily be done, especially with some of the teases that they gave us at the end there, the whole Plagueis thing, with the Venestra storyline, with the Chimera storyline. There's a lot of stuff they could continue with. But instead, they're like, you know what? Screw it, cover losses. We don't know what to do with this. Back shelf, in the vault. In the Disney vault with everything else that they plan to re-release in 10 years. I don't know. But it's just a hot mess over there. So when it comes to casting, meanwhile, back in July 2023, there was a report from Giant Freaking Robot that Keanu Reeves had filmed a cameo for the Acolyte, though he didn't end up appearing on the show. While I'm told that contrary to that report, Reeves never filmed a scene for the Acolyte, he had been in talks for the role ultimately played by Squid Game star Lee Jung-jae, whose character was killed off at the end of season 1. The problem, I'm told, is that Lionsgate refused to adjust the actor's schedule for Ballerina, the upcoming John Wick spin-off in which Reeves' iconic assassin plays a key supporting role alongside Ana de Armas. While studio insiders have countered that Reeves was never formally offered the role, I'm told he was very interested in doing the show, which wound up casting his Matrix co-star Carrie-Anne Moss, another selling point for him. In fact, don't be surprised if Reeves eventually finds his way into Star Wars franchise down the line, as Lucasfilm remains high on the actor whose interest has been noted internally. Now, here's the funny story about that. I read several other articles that's kind of dissecting a lot of this stuff here, but Leslie was against the casting of Keanu Reeves. she was the one pushing for Lee Jong-jae in the role, and she eventually won in that point. So even if Keanu was free to do the show, there could have been some internal discourse about his casting. Who knows what would have ended up with the show if he was in it? We can only speculate. But again, it just shows you that Leslie was getting everything that she kind of wanted. And I don't want to kind of like put all this blame on Leslie, because I think she is a creative mind and she's a good creator. I mean, Poker Face was a very good show, different show, but maybe she's just not, maybe, for Star Wars. Or if she had some help, she could have created something that is more digestible for a more general audience, a more casual audience, because that's the audience you need to capture here. And if the casual audience bows out after 2 episodes, you're basically shit out of luck at that point. This article continues saying that as for speculation that Lucasfilm is going to shift its focus from television to film, I'm told that the company is developing several new shows that simply haven't been announced yet because they don't want to repeat the same mistakes they've done before, where they announce everything and then 2 months later it's like, oh no, we're not doing that, we're not doing this, we're not doing that, all that stuff. So Lord, stop being a contrarian. I love how you get into this whole contrarian thing. Stop it. Let's see. As for speculation, Kathleen Kennedy's job is safe through at least Q2 of next year. So all the haters out there can stop gossiping about her imminent exit. She's not going anywhere as of now. That's because she is still bringing in money to Lucasfilm. If you're constantly bringing in money, no matter how bad you are, you're still going to be part of that family. Lucasfilm and director Jon Favreau are currently prepping the next Star Wars movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu, which will hit theaters on May 22, 2026. Pedro Pascal will reprise his role, blah, blah, blah. Sigourney Weaver, who's in talks for an undisclosed role, as reported by yours truly, Mr. Jeff Snyder. Stay tuned for more info on that front. So it just sounds like a lot of bad things were at play here that wasn't boding well for the Acolyte. At the end of the day, low viewership plus a budget of what, $180 million for the series. Way too expensive for Disney to kind of risk trying to take another stab at it. I still think they should have. That's just my opinion. But it was just an easy cop-out for them to do, as far as just not renewing the show, when they could have just easily have done it, you know, and just replace Leslie with somebody else, maybe someone that they think can do a better job at capturing the more casual and also pleasing the Star Wars fans out there. Who knows? We'll see. Because there are a good amount of people who actually enjoy the show. You know, I enjoyed the show. Not all the way, but for the most part, I enjoyed the show. But, you know, it is what it is. It's not coming back. It's done. I'm hoping at the very least we will get some sort of spin-off with some other storylines about the whole Plagueis thing, because that, again, is a wasted opportunity. And kind of like, for me, that's like the biggest FU to the fan base ever. We waited so long for Plagueis to show up somehow. He shows up briefly. Oh, and guess what? No, sorry, we're not doing a second season of that. So you're just going to have to wait to see if he ever shows up again. That was like, basically, I could see Mickey Mouse right now standing in front of all of us with a big middle finger, being, ha ha, fuck you. Yeah, and that's it. So it is what it is. All right. Catching up on some of the chat. Arnold is now playing Star Wars. I think this is going to be my favorite Star Wars game ever. Wow. In just this short amount of time he's been playing, he's fallen in love with it already. Very much like Chewbacca and 2 female stormtroopers. May the identity politics be with you now. Fuck off. We are all not fools here. Don't treat us like fools. I'm assuming you're speaking to Disney. I'm not a bigot because they can't shut up about what works in this world for them. I'm annoyed by it. Not inspirational, and them canceling the show is not inspirational. Okay. At this point, I actually don't have any idea who you're talking about. So there you go. Star-Lord, the Knight Rider. Yes, Disney. Disney. Speaking of Disney, guess how much they're reportedly paying Robert Downey Jr. to come back as Doom? Maybe this is why they couldn't do a second season of The Acolyte. $100 million. Robert Downey Jr. will reportedly be paid $100 million to play Dr. Doom in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. He says Kevin Feige approached him about the role around a year ago. I looked into the character and went, wow. Of course he would come back with $100 million. Who wouldn't? And there goes all your funding for all potential decent content that we could have gotten with that amount of money being paid. I thought they were not going to shell out that much money anymore for their future projects. I guess when it comes to RDJ, it's worth the spend, I guess. I don't know. Again, that's also just rumors. There's no confirmation behind that. It's just, you know, but if it is true, that is extremely absurd. Absurd. Not just Disney, but the agents of idiots that work for them. So you just hate Disney overall. Star-Lord is going through his anti-Disney establishment. All right. What else dropped here? Oh, man. Jester, if you're around, let me know. I believe it was Jester that was constantly asking about the latest updates on Salem's Lot. And it looks like we're getting some updates with Salem's Lot still coming out this year. All right, let's see here. Blah, blah, blah. Just catching up on some of the other news stuff here. Oh, this was something that dropped. Okay, let's keep it within the Disney family. James Spader is returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Ultron in the new Vision series that we haven't heard much about. They didn't even talk about it at D23. They didn't talk about it at San Diego Comic-Con. So this is the first that we were hearing anything related to the Vision series. So Picard showrunner Terry Matalas is heading up the WandaVision spinoff. James Spader is returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Emmy-winning actor is set to reprise his role as the voice of robotic villain Ultron in Marvel Studios' Untitled Vision series, the follow-up series to its acclaimed WandaVision show. He first played the role in 2015's Avengers Age of Ultron. Paul Bettany is reprising his role as Vision, White Vision, now as we see it, the android who fell in love with the Scarlet Witch and then was destroyed by Thanos in Avengers Infinity War. In WandaVision, he returned via magic that end the power of grief, but also as a rebuilt android, now ghostly white. Terry Matalas, the much heralded showrunner of Star Trek Picard, is spearheading the new show, which has been referred to as Vision Quest, although that is not its official title, and which tackles White Vision's search for a new purpose in life. I remember in WandaVision, he saw the truth of what was really happening, and he kind of saved Wanda at a certain point, and then just kind of He fled, right? He just ran away with his new kind of realization of reality and what's actually happening there. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to explore that. Adding to the show's mythological mix is Ultron, who, as Marvel fans know, was a sentient being created by Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, to act as a defense program, but that instead turned against humanity. Ultron then created his Vision, but before Vision became conscious, the Avengers took his body from Ultron. Vision ultimately was given consciousness, courtesy when Bruce Banner and Tony Stark uploaded what was left of Stark's Jarvis AI into Vision, creating a being that was neither Ultron nor Jarvis. Luckily for Earthlings, the son turns against his father to help the Avengers defeat the bad guy. Got all that? If not, just rewatch Avengers Age of Ultron. Thank you for saving us the time there, Hollywood Reporter. Ultron was seemingly destroyed at the end of the movie, so it is unclear how he would return and what kind of relationship he would have with Vision. The series is meant to be the third part of a trilogy that started with WandaVision and continues with Agatha All Along, which debuts in September on Disney+. The new show is eyeing a shoot in England in early 2025. I didn't know that was like a trilogy of shows they were planning. That may be the first time I've ever heard of them with some sort of game plan for their TV shows. Never heard that really. So if that's true, that's going to be new to me, and that's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out. Spader is a longtime actor and just talks more about Spader here. And that's it. So yeah, I'm excited to see or hear Spader come back as Vision. Why not? I think he, out of a lot of the villains that we got, he's definitely a villain that deserved more time and deserved more development. So what will that mean? Time will tell when Vision Quest will... We might even find out in Agatha All Along. There could be a good tie-in in that series when it ends into what eventually will be the Vision show. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know they will cry and blame Star Wars fans for victimizing them for canceling. I don't think they will actually say that. Well, you know what? I take that back. I think 5 years from now, when they kind of look back, I can easily see them do that. What I'm really curious is seeing and hearing from is Leslie. She has been very silent and quiet this whole time. Amandla has also been very quiet right now. We've heard from Manny Jacinto with his disappointment. Also heard from Lee Jung-jae, who was surprised. But we haven't heard from the two main people that were getting the most shit from the show. So it'll be really interesting to see what they have to say. White Vision, what's his power? White Avenger privilege. Oh. Oh, Star-Lord, you are on a roll. Where you're rolling to, I have no clue. But keep it up, man. I love it as always. Arnold, the graphics and the world. What the fuck? Arnold is creaming in his pants about Star Wars Outlaws.
I'm gonna come.
Who remembers the Sylvester Stallone film Cliffhanger? I loved Cliffhanger. There was something about that movie that it's one of the last Stallone movies that really had that feel of 80s and 90s action Stallone. You know, it was just so well done, and I loved it. I loved everyone's over-the-top acting, and John Lithgow as this villain was so good. Over the top, menacing, doesn't give a fuck, will kill even his woman. It was such a great movie. Who knew that they were making a sequel to Cliffhanger? Well, apparently they are. And it's going to start filming very soon. So here I am. Dark Horizons Cliffhanger sequel to film early fall. Filming on the sequel to the iconic Sylvester Stallone-led 1993 action thriller Cliffhanger is set to get underway imminently. Screen Daily reports that the project has received major funding from the Austrian Film Commission and will be starting production in September-October. 78-year-old Stallone will reprise his role as Gabriel Gabe Walker, who is now living in the Dolomites. Dolomite? Will Dolomite himself appear? We shall see. Where he runs an exclusive mountain lodge. When Gabe and a high-profile client are taken hostage during an adventurous weekend trip, his daughter has to use all her climbing skills to outwit the kidnappers, triggering a battle of life and death. So it's going to be one of those like passing of the torch where now it's his daughter. Daughter Walker will be the cliffhangeress. Mark Brian Cooley, the good neighbor in Hunters, penned the film, which will see Jean-Francois Richet directing rather than original film helmer Rennie Harlan, or the originally slated sequel director Rick Roman Wall of Angel Has Fallen. Lars Silvstedt, Thorsten Schumacher, Neil H. Moritz, Toby Jaffe, Philippe Cruiser, and Joe Narrator produce. The original remains one of the biggest hits of Stallone's career and grossed $255 million. At least I know that from this premise, it sounds like the daughter will be doing the majority of the cliffhanging. Because my biggest concern was, what the hell was Stallone at his ripe age of 78? How is he going to be cliffhanging? I guess he's not going to do much cliffhanging. It's going to be his daughter. So the question is, who should be his daughter in this film? I'm curious what I say. F it. Haley Atwell. With the way she could act in action in Mission Impossible, why not? She could do an American accent, right? Or maybe maybe Stallone married someone in the Swiss Alps, and that's why she has sort of an accent. I don't know. We'll see. Kelly, why? Ask why. But dry. But thank you for your comment, Kelly. I appreciate you. Arnold sent me something on Insta. Be my guest, Sylvester Stallone. It's your cliff. Sly is in this, right? Yep. He is the owner of the resort or the chalet. I guess the mountaintop chalet. And we'll get to see all the hijinks happening at that place. So it will be really interesting to see. I love Cliffhanger. I think I wouldn't say it's my favorite Stallone movie, but it's definitely top 3. Definitely top 3. Uh-oh. Arnold sent me porn. His porn. Because it's Star Wars Outlaws. It does look good. The game looks really good. It almost looks like Jedi Fallen Order in a way, which is a good thing because I think the graphics of Jedi Fallen Order is really good. Very well done. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm really glad you're enjoying it there, Arnold. Again, a reminder, if you're watching live, hit that like button. We greatly appreciate it. Star saying his daughter will cliffhang after she has finished having coffee with Axel Foley's daughter. Now you have an idea, Star-Lord. Why don't we combine the two universes together and let's make it a daughter-daughter buddy cop. Cliff hanging in the hills. There's a reason why I don't work in Hollywood, guys. To be fair, I like Beverly Hills Cop 4. I didn't hate it. I thought it was pretty decent. But damn, too many dollars. Well, we've already did the son thing. In the past, it was always the son. Always. You know, Die Hard, you know, John McClane had a son who did stuff, right? You had, name other famous sons of whatever. You know, it was always sons before. So now it's time for the daughters. Let's give some daughters some shine. I like that you don't have a light heavy. That makes everything so different. You mean as far as like gun is concerned? Is that what you mean? The daughter cinematic universe. Yeah, let's team them up. You have Axel Foley's daughter. Now you're gonna have Walker's daughter. Why don't we team them up with Thor's daughter? Now we're going off the rails here. It'll be a fun time had by all. All right. Let's see what other interesting news bits. Do we really care that Chris Pratt was up for a Field of Dreams series? Why are we making a Field of Dreams series? F that noise. That's stupid. All right, I'm going to save the Salem's Lot news bit for when Jester comes back, because I know he's been dying for updates on that. We had sons, daughters, nieces, and nephews in the past. Arnold, sorry, I meant you don't have a lightsaber. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, like I said before, the interesting part of that game, Outlaws, is the fact that you are a smuggler. You know, and we've never had a chance to be that archetype yet. And that for me is exciting, you know. You get to deal with the underbelly. You get to deal with bounty hunters. You know, you have your Fallen Order for the Jedi stuff, which I think it does a good job at. Even though the Fallen Order or Survivor, which is the second part, I haven't finished yet. I took a break from it because it, in a way, kind of felt it was getting a little bit repetitive. But I thought for what it is, it did a really good job with that. Now give us something different, you know? I still think we should get a Battlefront 3, though. It would be nice. It would be nice. But does EA hold those rights? I guess they do. I guess they do. All right, I'm pulling up some additional articles that I could just quickly read here with everybody. So bear with me for a moment, y'all. Keep chatting. Let me know if there's anything you want to chat about. Anything that stands out to you. Right, we already know Longlegs is out on digital. By the way, I forgot I saved this here. As I was seeing all the discourse online about the whole Acolyte thing, this post caught my attention. And again, it just shows you the unfortunate toxicity of fandom. And this is just a snippet of what I saw. We already saw it getting review bombed on Rotten Tomatoes. But this was like a good representation of everything. At Disney, we strive to put humanity above other considerations. Meanwhile, the lead of one of their shows is getting lambasted with racist hate and abuse, and it's crickets from Lucasfilm and the Mouse. So she's quoting a post that Disney once did on Twitter, followed by comments. Congratulations on the cancellation of this terrible thing. Now I hope you do something of value without identity politics. Get woke, grow broke, baby. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Shit emoji. Canceled, fire clapping. Go woke, grow broke. These are all the go woke, go broke bros. How does it feel to have your terrible show canceled, princess? What a dick. Yo, bad things happen to bad people. No season 2 for you. What the hell is that? Hope your ego took the hit it needed. Maybe learn to accept criticism next time before acting like a victim. The writing was bad, that's why it was bad. Worst actress ever. Worst show ever. Both canceled forever. Everything you do is a disaster. Now you can do your dirty dancing all the time. Or in this person's case, Ali the time. Take the L, bozo. Canceled. Ah ha 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 ha. Your acting is dog shit, and that's why the show was canceled. We can all celebrate now. That's finally gone. You'd have spent more time on your acting rather than your dancing and diss track skills. Glad your show got canceled. You must another nappy head. Oh, come on. Really? People suck. Let them talk their shit. It's what we're here for. Hell yeah. I will highlight the stupidity of people as much as I can. It's me and internet comic etiquette. I love what he does with his videos. Oh, man. Oh, well. All right. 3 more news stories before I am out of here. This is something that I find very disappointing, especially in Star-Lord. We briefly talked about this, how like all these movies are coming out, not all of them good, right? Or not all of them is what we wanted. But what about the movies that haven't come out yet that I actually do want? And I think there are a sector of people that are actually wanting to see this. And that is, and I saw your Freddy Krueger's daughter put on this glove. I forgot Freddy Krueger had a daughter too. That was that 3D Nightmare on Elm Street. What was really funny. Only problem is that they're not too clever with it. No, they're not. They're just hateful, like Neanderthals. The Toxic Avenger. This is an interesting story about this movie. So the Toxic Avenger, we all know, well, at least I think we all know, but I remember the old movie from back in the day. It was a movie I was not supposed to watch because it was very naughty and violent at the same time. But I remember renting it from the video store, popping it in. My brother walked in, say, "Hey, what are you watching?" I say, "This is called The Toxic Avenger." And the next scene to pop up is that 2 people having sex with girl full on nude. And he's like, "You're not supposed to be watching this." Click, turned off, never got to see it again until I was like in my teens, right? It is a classic, kind of schlocky horror movie from the time. If you know Trauma, you know the type of films that they put out there. It's like Love and Hate, right? And then it, weirdly enough, spawned a freaking cartoon animated series and action figures. I guess it goes to show you kind of like the brilliance behind the Trauma guys. But there was a remake of The Toxic Avenger that was made. It filmed back in 2021. And till this day, it has not seen the light of day. And as of right now, it's still in limbo, and I don't know why. With digital and all that stuff, it could have easily have come out digital on demand, video on demand, or whatever, or Shudder. Nothing. Trauma has their own streaming platform, and it hasn't even been able to be released there. So what's the deal with this movie? I'm dying to see it. But here, Toxic Avenger released still in limbo. Almost a year ago, a reboot of The Toxic Avenger premiered at Fantastic Fest to good reviews. The film sitting at 97% score Rotten Tomatoes from over 24 reviews. Peter Dinklage, Jacob Tremblay, Taylor Page, Julia Davis, Johnny Coyne, Elijah Wood, and Kevin Bacon co-star in the film about a terminally ill janitor who falls into a pit of toxic waste and is transformed into a deformed monster out for revenge. Since that screening, however, there's not been a peep beyond rumors of it being a very hard film for producer-distributor Legendary Pictures to market. Out promoting his new Western film, The Thicket, Dinklage, Peter that is, was asked by comicbook.com about the status of the Toxic Avenger release and says, and I'm going to try to do it in my best Peter Dinklage voice. "I'm not a producer on it. I don't know. I do not want it to get out there into the world because it was a really big hit at Fantastic Fest in Austin. And Macon Blair, the writer-director who is also in The Thicket, he's incredible. He's one of my favorite people and favorite artists. So hopefully it will have its day in the Toxic Sun." The film was shot almost 3 years ago now, with the teaser released back in September of last year. And it is Peter Dinklage who is Toxie in this movie, from what it looks like. So I don't know. Release a damn movie already. I want to see it. I want to see little Peter Dinklage as Toxic Avenger. Why not? Why can't we have this movie yet? Next is about Hellboy, The Crooked Man. Believe it or not, I have not seen the trailer to this yet. Should I watch it? Maybe I should watch it after I read this article. But anyway, Hellboy the Crooked Man release imminent. Ketchup Entertainment has yet to officially announce a US release date for the upcoming Hellboy the Crooked Man film, but a new leak has indicated when the film will begin its international rollout. PVR Enox Pictures, the largest independent distributor of foreign language films in India, is reportedly releasing the film on September 13th in the country according to their X feed. Meanwhile, CGV Cinemas in Vietnam says it's coming even sooner over there. Specifically this upcoming Friday, August 30th, going by the labeling on trailers. This would suggest a US release is fairly imminent either way. During a recent interview with Total Film, director Brian Taylor spoke about how the film will differ from both the prior big-budget Guillermo del Toro films and the poorly received Neil Marshall-helmed reboot. Quote, as cool as those other movies were, even Mignola will tell you it's not quite his character. I don't think in terms of it's a reboot or trying to start a new franchise. This isn't content. It's a movie that needs to stand on its own. Nobody wants to see a cheap knockoff of Guillermo del Toro's $100 million movie. This is going back to the young Hellboy where he was really more of the plumber who's going to fix your monster problem. I like the way he's phrasing all this stuff. This wandering, sarcastic, soulful, smoking guy who stumbles on supernatural hauntings and occurrences and helps out as best he can. If Mike Mignola feels like for the first time he sees this guy on screen, then I feel like we've succeeded. End quote. The film sees Hellboy, Jack Kesey, and a rookie BRPD agent, Adeline, stranded in 1950s rural Appalachia. There they discover a small community haunted by witches and led by a local devil with a troubling connection to Hellboy's past, the Crooked Man. Said man is Jeremiah Whitkins, an 18th century miser and war profiteer, hanged for his crimes yet returned from hell as the region's resident devil. Jefferson White, Joseph Marcel, Hannah Margiston, and Martin Bassendale co-star in the film with a script co-written by Mignola himself. Those are people I do not know anything about. For me, that was just like names, random names, blah, 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 blah. So, like I said, I have not seen this trailer at all. So why don't I look at it now? Why not? Let's do a search for it. Hellboy, Crooked Man trailer. And here we go. So let's check this out. And this came out a while ago too, like a month ago. Yeah. This was during a time when I was so behind on trailers that I just haven't had a chance to like look at a lot of them. But here it is. Hellboy, the Crooked Man trailer. I have no idea who Ketchup Entertainment is either.
Something haunted. Evil.
Okay.
Death.
It looks kind of like Evil Dead.
Dark things called dark things.
It looks extremely low budget.
Most just called him the Crooked Man.
Oh, that was kind of freaky.
We've got company.
All your friends.
They are definitely leaning in more on the horror aspect. There's like no humor, which really stands out to me. There's like no humor. It's like full on like horror action. But it does look extremely low budget. But you know what? It looks interesting to me. It really does. It also looks like something you could find on like a streaming platform. So why can't they just release that on streaming at this point? They should not release this in theaters. If anything they learned from the recent Crow movie and its result from the weekend, they should not release this in theaters. They should just go forward and release this on demand or on a streaming service, something like that, because this is not going to make any money, I think. I'm curious what the budget is like for this movie. Let's see. I'm going to look it up. Hellboy. Crooked Man budget. Because it looks extremely low budget. I don't think they have it anywhere online. It can't be more than like 20, 30 million, right? Anyway, I think it could be interesting. That could be very interesting to check out. Star-Lord's about to eat a Hot Pocket. Hot Pocket! And burnt the fuck out of his lips. But hopefully he'll get rid of his headache. Hot Pockets were meant to always burn you somehow. Either your lips or your tongue. Or the roof of your mouth. I've never experienced eating any Hot Pocket or pizza roll, for that matter, that didn't end up burning me somehow. I feel like that is a given with any types of that type of meal. So I know exactly what you're going through. All right, let's see. I wanted to see if this is worth checking out. I'm not a big fan of like set leaks and all that, but there were some interesting Fantastic Four set photos that were released. Yeah, let's check it out. Fuck it. Why not? So I'm back here. Work is continuing on the Fantastic Four First Steps production in the UK, with new photos and video emerging of 2 large outdoor sets being built for the production, as the project is set in an alternate 1960s-esque retro-futuristic universe. Say all of that 3 times as fast. One of the sets shows what has been suggested as being the Earth's alternate version of Times Square, complete with a massive old-school TV, cars, and smaller shop fronts. Also visible is the massive Excelsior launch pad, which sits next to the Baxter Building and is still being worked on. The Fantastic Four, yeah, we know who stars in it. Ralph Ineson, yes. Natasha Lyonne, Julia Garner on board with the film, which WandaVision creator Matt Shakman, blah, blah, blah. It will release July 25th, 2025. TV screen is ready on... Oh, yeah, this does kind of look like a Times Square. Look at that TV! And I'm sure everything else above it will all be CG. Archeo Palace. Wow, that is kind of funny. Here is the landing pod. Big logo on it. All right, that's cool. Oh, there's video. All right, let's watch the video. I'll mute it in case there's some stupid music. It almost looks like miniatures, but it's not. Like, this is an actual set. That is pretty massive. That takes up a good amount of real estate right there. Yeah, see, look at the little car. This could be, I mean, I like the aesthetics. There's always something about the retro futuristic aesthetic of like a reimagining of like a 60s era, but with like more future technology. I've always loved something like that. So that's amazing. Again, the art of filmmaking is just fantastic. I mean, the creativity behind it all, the fact that you could remake something to look like something that actually exists. To this day, it still blows my mind. You know, I have someone in the family who is a construction worker, an architect in Hollywood. He's been part of a lot of sets. So I don't think he's part of this, but I can only imagine the type of work he does. It's so good. It is amazing what people can do. It really, truly is. Sorry, saying great to, I have a Hot Pocket sympathizer. Hell yeah. Pocket.
I'm gonna come.
Wow.
Why is Disneyland trending? Let's look at this real quick. Oh, it's the cast preview of Oogie Boogie Bash. They're getting ready to celebrate their Halloween as it gets earlier and earlier every year. I'm telling you, like, one of my favorite times to go to Disney is during Halloween. There's something that is just magical. I know it's very cliche to say, but when you go trick-or-treating, when during one of the nights where they stay open late, and you see characters dressed as other characters, there's something extremely charming about that. I love it. Avenge me like the Hot Pocket Crow back there. Could you imagine? Like all of a sudden, your lips are burnt, so the cells from your lips are now in limbo. They're like, oh, they hurt the one I love. I must avenge it. It's like a little, I don't know, a lip running around, dolled up in the crow makeup, fighting against the evil Hot Pockets. That sounds terrible, actually. No, I don't want to imagine that. That sounds like a hot mess. All right. I think that pretty much does it as far as like all the top.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's a good sign for me to start wrapping things up. I'll start wrapping things up and I'll head on out in about 5 minutes. So anything you guys want to talk about until then, let me know. What are your plans for the rest of the week? What do you have in store? All that stuff. Quick reminder on the schedule for this week. I don't know if I will be able to stream again on Wednesday. I have another one of those crazy busy weeks ahead of me. However, there is a very good chance I could stream on Friday. So if anything, Friday will be the next stream. But the big announcement that I made at the top of the hour, not top of the hour, top of the stream, top of the show, is that this Sunday, because it is a holiday weekend here in the US, this Sunday will be the official 12-hour, 10,000 subscriber celebration stream. What we'll do on that stream yet, I'm still working it out, but you could expect games, conversation, maybe watch along reactions to something. I don't know. We'll figure out. It's also the end of summer, the unofficial end of summer. So let's end it with a big bang and we'll stream Sunday and all that. I mean, we could even maybe do some Star-Lord since you have Xbox. I can download Star Wars Battlefront. I believe there is crossplay for that. Maybe we could do some Star Wars Battlefront 2. Just saying. I think that could be a lot of fun. So, I think there's crossplay, right? Between PC and console. Let me look that up. Let me look that up. I want to make sure before I, shoot my mouth off. Star Wars Battlefront 2 crossplay. Can you play Battlefront 2 crossed by Xbox PC? My friend has a PC and has Game Pass. Oh, it does not. Oh, no.
Wow.
I see. If I wanted to play with you on your Xbox, I would have to play it on the cloud. which I could try. I don't know how good that's going to be. I mean, with the lag and everything, that could be actually like pretty painful. I don't know. But whatever, we'll figure something out. The Jackbox stuff could be fun in its own, so that could be a lot of fun there. So we could totally do that. But yeah, this Sunday, 12-hour stream. Get ready. Maybe if I have time to set up my kitchen, maybe I could do like a cook along, and I could cook myself some food so that I don't have to order anything. You would rather GTA 5? Does that allow crossplay, PC and Xbox? If it's on Game Pass, I don't even know if GTA 5 is on Game Pass anymore. I don't think it is. Yeah, I'm launching the Xbox PC game app right now. Let's see. Sort by title. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like GTA is available on Game Pass for PC. So, won't be able to partake in that, unfortunately. That's a bummer. I know it was on Game Pass before. I guess it was removed at one point. That sucks. But like I said, we could always figure something out. We could always figure something out. I do wonder how Star Wars would be like if I tried to play it on the cloud. I don't think it would even let me. I don't think it would even let me play it on the cloud on PC. It's asking me to install it straight up. One day, perhaps. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, we'll figure something out. There's so many things we could do. But again, it's just a day to chill, hang out, have fun. Doesn't have to be too serious or anything like that. So, Arnold, last chance. If you're still there, maybe you're so busy with your Star Wars. Let us know how the game is treating you. For Arnold, is it your game of the year? Let us know in the chat before I head on out. You wouldn't be able to keep up on Star Wars Battlefront 2? Doesn't matter. It's all about having fun. I haven't played those games in so long, I probably wouldn't be able to keep up. It's hard as it is fighting these damn high-ranked players. My favorite mode in Battlefront 2 is the massive, the giant maps, like the 60-plus player maps, well, it's just all chaos. That's like the funniest time I've always had on those Star Wars games. That and the star fighting. I love it. Arnold saying the game is so wonderful. Wonderbar. Enjoy every moment. Game of the year so far. Yes. Wow, look at that. Big words. Star Wars Outlaws, Arnold's game of the year. Like I said, I'm happy you're enjoying that. That's awesome. I will play that game eventually one day. And I will be looking forward to it. Get Injustice 2, or I'm not really much into fighting games. Not anymore. Like, Injustice is fun, but I'm not really into fighting games like that. I had my moment with those games. I think now I'm kind of past it, you know. The last real fun fighting game I played with my friends was Dragon Ball FighterZ, or Fighters. That was a lot of fun. But I'm pretty much over that stuff. I have to play it if I'm a big Star Wars fan. Yeah. Like I said, I definitely am looking forward to it. It's just I know right now I'm not going to be able to spend enough time for it or have enough focus for it. But I will play it eventually. And I can't wait for that. I still haven't even played, what was that? Spider-Man 2. Amazing Spider-Man 2. And that was a game I've been wanting to play ever since it came out. I just haven't had a chance to even pick it up. So, don't worry, Star-Lord. We'll figure it out. We have time to figure it out. All right, guys. I'm going to head out for the day. I hope you enjoy the rest of your days. Thank you again so much, as always, for hanging out with me, talking, the conversation, the support. I greatly appreciate it, as always. Sometimes it's hard to know what the turnout's going to be like, especially since I haven't been online in a bit. But I'm always very happy to see the regulars show up, even albeit briefly sometimes. So, just want to quickly shout out to Star-Lord, of course, Arnold, of course. Always a pleasure having you guys around. Also, big shout out to Scorched. And let's see. Tiny G, quickly saying hi real quick. Am I dead yet? Nice seeing them around. Def, Moist Trash, with your morality questions and thought-provoking questions. Always appreciate that. Happy to see you guys here. Kevin Davis, always a pleasure having you around when you show up. Ficon, wish you lots of luck with your Lego sets. Jester, always a pleasure having you around as well. And I believe that's it for now. If I've missed anyone, don't take it personally. I just have, like Arnold says, I have Alzheimer's, and sometimes I cannot remember everything. So, but I appreciate everyone. The best day. Have a great week. If I do end up streaming on Wednesday, I will let everyone know on the channel community tab. So stay tuned for that. But I'm going to try my best for Friday. And if not, again, we got Sunday. So, Fight Night Champion could be one. Maybe. Appreciate it, Arnold. I hope work isn't too crazy for you this week, but at least you have Star Wars there. So that's good. Keep it cool. Keep it classic. Be safe. Happy. Love you, my family. Hell yeah. Star-Lord took the words right out of my mouth. So with all that being said, stay cool, stay class, stay safe. I will catch you all in the next one, y'all. Peace out. Bye, everybody. Appreciate you all.